Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, 19 November 2023. We begin with an episode of Tarzan. This will be new for us. Then we follow with, I believe it's the second episode we've heard from Planet Man. Then Sherlock Holmes, The Lone Ranger, always popular. And then a variety show, The Railroad Hour. Every broadcast of Sunday night very nearly has something out of the ordinary. So we have an episode of The Strange Dr. Weird. And in remembering Thanksgiving that's coming up this Thursday in the United States, we have Thanksgiving dinner with our Miss Brooks. The Kraft Music Hall entertains us, and then we have two surprises for the very close of our program. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get down to it.
Tarzan of the Apes, a character of Edgar Rice Burroughs' famous book, in reality is the son of a titled English couple, Lord and Lady Greystoke, who were put ashore by a mutinous crew in the jungles of West Africa. The maroon couple were left with tools and firearms, and Tarzan's mother and father built the little hut in which Tarzan is born a year afterward. It's the night of their little son's first birthday. Lord and Lady Greystoke are sitting in their rude but strongly built home. Around them lies the jungle, dark, mysterious, teeming with great sinister shapes, mocking with dreadful quiet through the night. The roar of a lion tells that the mighty monarch of the forest has made its kill. And from farther away can be heard the hideous laughing cry of the hyenas, echoing the lion's thunderous roar. The wind rustles the leaves of the trees outside. Both are startled.
What's that, John?
Yes. I heard it too. Oh, it's only the wind in the trees, dear.
It gave me rather a start.
It did me, too, for a moment. Silly as both of us. Nothing short of a herd of elephants could force its way in here. I confess a bit of pride. This place is built like a vault.
Oh, John, I know we're safe enough, but sometimes I don't think I can stand it a moment longer. It's the nights. They're dreadful. There, that's what I mean. All night long, the jungle seems to threaten us. And those hyenas, that hideous cry of theirs. It's like the laugh of a maniac. They seem to be jeering at us. As though someday they...
Now, Alice, get hold of yourself. You can't let go this way. You'll go mad. You have to hold tight, dear. For him.
For him. Oh, he's a year old today, John.
Yes, a year old and as sound as a nut. Sleeps through gunshots and everything.
He's a darling, isn't he, John? And the picture of you.
Nothing of the sort. He looks exactly like you. Oh, yes, he does, dear. Why, he has your eyes and that sweet little smile of his. Why, that's exactly like you, dear. He can't get through here. Sit tight. I'll pop the bag through the ladder.
John! He'll burst the door down. I know he will. Look at the bar.
Hush. Turn down that lamp so if I can get a bead on the beggar through here.
All right. There. Don't get your face too close to the lattice. He may strike through.
There. See through here. He's a big brute.
I don't want to look. Shoot him, John. Shoot him.
There, dear. Hold steady. We'll have a lion's skin wrap the baby in.
Hurry, John. Hurry. Every time he claws the door, it gives terribly.
Lord, he must be hungry to come up this way.
Oh, his eyes. They're terrible. Oh, those horrible teeth. Oh.
Stand away from my arm. Oh. I put that one right down his throat. Another one will settle him.
There, that finishes the liar. It's all over, dear. Why, he's as dead as a doorknob. Don't be frightened.
Oh, John. I'm sorry to go to pieces this way. Really, I am, but you know, the last few days, I've had a terrible premonition that something would happen. It's all silly, I know, but I can't escape this dreadful feeling.
You're just nervous, that's all. Why, any day now we'll wake up and find a boat in the bay. And you and I and the little chap there will go sailing back to England.
Oh, it's been 2 years now, and there's been no boat. 2 terrible years, John.
Why, Alice, I can't understand this in you at all. Oh, buck up, my girl. Don't let it get you this way.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. It's like a terrible threat hanging over. Listen to the jungle now.
Why, there isn't a sound.
No. That shot quieted them for a little while, but the silences are the worst of all. The silence means that something awful and dreadful is passing through the jungle.
Yeah, the silence is broken for you. A panther.
Oh, John, I hate to show the white feather like this, and I shan't do it again. Now there, that's a promise.
White feather? Oh, why, rot. You've been marvelous, Alice. This infernal jungle is bound to get you once in a while. Come on, kiss me and forget it.
Gladly, sir. John, which one of our neighbors is that?
A bull?
It's the apes I hate worst of all. They're so human and yet so far from human. Those long, powerful arms, their awkward gait, and the terrific speed in which they swing and leap from branch to branch.
They are nasty beggars.
That one you shot yesterday. Oh, those nasty, close-set eyes and yellow fangs.
Come on now. Forget it.
Again the cry of a huge bull ape, a brutish creature of terrible strength and awful temper. The ape has suddenly gone mad, raging, foaming mad, with that peculiar madness which suddenly seizes bull apes and quickly passes. He's running rampant among his people. The younger and lighter apes are scampering to the highest branches. Kayla, a young female, comes into the clearing. Her baby is clinging to her neck. She doesn't know. She doesn't know that Bolat has gone into one of his terrible rages. Bolat tries her. The others yell hoarse cries of warning. He's bearing down on her. She leaps from branch to branch. He has her by the ankle. She breaks loose. Up the tree she goes. Bolat behind her. She makes a terrific leap to another tree. She makes it. The jaw tears her baby's grip loose from its mother's neck. It falls to the ground with a thud. Bolat's roaring grows fainter, fainter, as he hurls his powerful body through the trees.
That bull ape is certainly doing a lot of boasting tonight.
He sounds very close, John.
Oh, he's miles away. Those bull apes have tremendous lung power.
Beastly sound.
Yes.
John, it's getting a little cold. I think perhaps we'd better build a small fire. Baby sneezed this morning.
All right. I want to go out and drag that lion into the shed anyway before the hyenas get at the skin.
John, have you noticed how deathly still the jungle has suddenly become?
Just a lull. Where's the axe?
Over there in the corner. Just a few sticks will do, John. Just enough to keep the chill off.
Righto. Be back in a second.
Aren't you going to take your rifle?
Oh, I'll hardly need it. Just going out to the shed. I'll leave the door open. The light will keep any animals away.
All right.
You know, every time I open the latch on this door, I'm impressed with myself. Well, it's quite an invention, Alice.
Yes, dear. I have admired it before.
Oh, no.
Now run along and get the wood.
Yes, all right, dear.
The sound of Greystoke's axe echoes through the strangely silent jungle. Greystoke doesn't notice the fearful tenseness of the silence. The jungle is cringing away from a monstrous shadow which moves ominously through the hushed and fearful night. A huge ape comes to the clearing. It is Borat, the crazed derelict of the jungle. He halts. His insane, bloodshot eyes catch sight of the unsuspecting Greystoke. They gleam hatred from beneath his shaggy brows. He bares his fangs as though in a horrid snarl, but no sound comes from his great throat. Slowly, noiselessly, the 350 pounds of stifled rage moves across the clearing. Bolt upright, his mighty arms dangling loose at his side. A shadow falls across the log which Greystoke is chopping. He looks up into the beastly, snarling face of the brute. Oh! The ape makes a lunge at Greystoke. Ah! Close the door! Greystoke raises his axe, brings it down with terrific force. The ape catches the axe in his terrible hands and flings it from him. With bared fangs, he leaps at Greystoke.
Oh, don't let the hot sun dry out your hair. Better use Vitalis.
Summer sun, the wind, the water, all make your hair dry as the desert. Your scalp becomes flaky. New Vitalis Hair Tonic with V7, the greaseless grooming discovery, stops summer dryness, keeps your hair neater all day. Vitalis gives your hair extraordinary protection from the ravages of sun, wind, and water. New laboratory findings show that even excessively dried out hair gets back its necessary moisture content faster with Vitalis than with any leading hair cream or hair oil. Yes, greaseless Vitalis with wonder-working V7 does wonders for your hair and for you, too. Get new Vitalis with V7.
If you want to make time with your girl, better use Vitalis. You know what I mean.
The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were heading for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pat, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. The sound of the complicated control mechanism makes the cabin seem like a chatterbox of confusion. And from the outside can be heard the mad whining of the lunar currents. We find them now as they're getting closer and closer to the moon's surface. Slats is speaking.
Our altimeter reading is dropping pretty fast, Professor.
Isn't there any way we can break our fall on the moon?
I've thought of everything, Pat, but there just doesn't seem to be any answer. The extra power we lost on takeoff was our only hope.
Father, I know you don't like to do things second best, but in a situation like this, it might be necessary.
What do you mean, Pat?
Well, what about using our remaining power to go into an orbit around the moon, as we discussed in our original plan?
Yes, but what good will that do? We still come to the same end, except that the agony will be prolonged.
Let's do it, Professor. We got nothing to lose.
Whatever it is, I'm game, Uncle John.
Me too, Uncle John.
You know what they say, Professor, where there's life, there's hope.
It'll be a ticklish maneuver now since we've gotten into the pull of the moon, and our power is limited. But if the rest of you are game, so am I. Stand by to maneuver. Pat, start the reactor.
Yes, Father.
Slats, check the radar rangefinder and make sure you pinpoint those readings on the moon.
Yes, sir.
I'll pilot. Now keep your fingers crossed. Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Cut the reactor, Pat.
Cutting reactor.
What's our reading?
It's 63.3. We need a bit more, Professor.
Hit it again, Pat.
Reactor on.
Are we picking it up fast enough, Slats? What's the reading?
Not enough, Professor. We need a fraction more.
Are you sure, Slats? I've got our heading way over, and our power can't last much longer with such a radical course heading. Slats, give me a reading. Slats, do you hear me? Give me a reading.
It's 89.4. 6 more points, Professor.
That's the end of our power. I hope we make it.
Steady. Steady. Just a bit more, old Ironsides. There. Well, we made it. We made it, Professor.
Good,
right
that's
on the
fine.
beam.
I'm so glad. Very glad.
Hey, what are we all so happy about? We're right in the middle of nowhere.
You mean that we're not going to land on the moon after all?
I'm afraid not, Billy.
What's going to happen? Nothing, Jane. We're just going to circle the moon the way the moon circles the earth.
Just look at that view of the moon. What a break. So near and yet so far.
Uncle John, something is happening to the air. It's getting stuffy in here.
I know, Billy. It's the air circulator slowing down. Breathing will be just a bit difficult from now on since our oxygen supply is limited.
Professor, can you hear me?
Slats, where are you? What are you up to?
I'm outside the ship, bringing up the lunar communications generator. Thought we might as well set it up and try to make contact with the Earth.
You can't do that alone.
I'm here, too.
Careful, Pat. Don't let go now. Pat! Slats, grab her. She's floating away.
What?
Quick, Slats!
Slats, help me. Help me.
Pat, here, grab my hand. Quick now, come on. Hold tight now. Easy. There we are. Steady now.
He pulled her back, Uncle John.
Pat, Slats, is everything all right?
Yes, Father, thanks to Slats. I thought I was a goner.
Don't forget you're out in space, Pat, and if you ever drifted away, we'd never be able to get you back.
It's all okay now, Professor. We're coming in.
Pat,
Yes, Billy?
Jane and I know what's going on.
What are you talking about?
Pat, we know this whole trip was spoiled because we stowed aboard. It's all our fault.
Now listen to me, you two, and stop feeling guilty. It wasn't the best idea for you to sneak aboard, but it did happen. And besides, we could have been wrong in our calculations. The important thing now is for all of us to face up to whatever lies ahead. And I know that you two won't let me down.
Never, Pat.
Not us, Pat. All right, now let's just forget the whole thing. I wonder where Slats and Father are.
We'll return to Planet Man in just a moment.
It works wonders when the family gathers at Grandma's for one of those special Sunday dinners.
Milk nut. They call them milk nut.
Yes. Like the drumstick.
The drumstick. Bobby, come on, get out from under there. That's a new suit.
And if you get a headache later on, that's when Bayer works wonders. 2 Bayer tablets bring all the pain relief power your headache can use. Bayer is pure aspirin, not just part aspirin. Bayer works wonders.
Well, it looks like the first trip from Earth to the moon is coming to its tragic end. The good ship Constitution is in a hopeless orbit about the moon. The entire crew is slowly suffocating because the oxygen supply is coming to an end. Professor Darrow and Slats are in the posterior cargo chamber. Slats is apparently up to something.
Why don't you go to the control cabin, Professor, and lie down for a while? It'll be easier for you to breathe.
I think I'd better stay here. I hate to have Pat and the kids see me so worried and worn out. Slats, you've got something on your mind. What is it?
I've been thinking, Professor. I really haven't got anybody. Nobody'd miss me, and you and Pat and the kids would have a little extra time.
Now, what are you driving at?
Well, a big guy like me uses a lot of oxygen. All I have to do is to step through that port, and it'll be all over in a second. You people will have a little longer.
Don't be a fool, Slats. We're all in this together. Besides, if anybody goes through the port, it will be me. I'm the oldest. And besides, the whole thing is my responsibility.
Now, look, Professor, I've made up my mind. There's no point in trying to stop me.
No, Slats, don't jump.
Don't stop me, Professor. I'll hit you. I didn't mean to hurt you, Professor, but this is the way it's got to be. So long, Professor. What's that?
What's going on in there? What's that clanging?
We're not clanging anything. I thought it was you.
Let's. Father, look out the port. Quick! Boy, look at that. It's Mammoth.
Professor, get up. Something's happened.
What?
There's something next to our ship.
Huh? Oh, my head. Ship. Here, help me. Let me see the... What? It's impossible. But it looks like another ship is next to ours.
Let me help you, Professor. We must get to the control cabin with the others.
Father, Slats, what is it?
I don't know, but now we'd better stay close together. Slats, where are you going?
Just to get this fishing wrench. I don't know what's coming through that hatch, but I'm not taking any chance.
Well, be careful and don't get too close to the hatch.
Let's all be very quiet.
Oh, Uncle John, look.
Stand back, whatever you are.
Look at Slats. He can't move. He's frozen in his tracks. Oh, Slats.
Why, it's a man.
What did you expect? A three-headed Mercurian man-eater? I am a man from the planets.
A planet man. Boy, wait till the gang hears about this.
Billy, please.
My name is Dantro, the Planet Man, and I come in peace. I represent the League of Planets, and my mission is to bring all of you to Planaria Rex.
Planaria Rex? League of Planets?
Where is that?
I'll explain in a moment. But I don't think we should leave your brave friend Slats in this paralyzed predicament. He'll snap right out of it with a shot of this ray gun neutralizer.
What happened? Did I get him?
It's all right, Slats. We're all safe. It seems that we've met a friend, and his name is Dantro, the Planet Man.
It's nice to meet a brave man like you, Slats. Here, let me help you up.
Dantro, my name is John Darrow. This is my daughter and assistant, Pat.
How do you do?
And I think you've already met Slats.
Yeah.
And these two are Jane and Billy, my niece and nephew.
It's a pleasure to know you all. You see, we've really known you for a long time, since we've been able to watch your experiments. In fact, we've been in touch with this entire trip of yours. We've even learned to speak your language.
But how could you do all that?
We planet men have many devices which Earth has not yet discovered. And one of them is the cosmic communicator, which enables us to see and hear across the millions of miles of space.
But why have you kept the existence of the League of Planets from the Earth?
Where is Planaria Rex, and why haven't I been able to chart its position?
Everything will be explained to you in due time.
What's that noise?
It's coming from my ship. We must hurry along. It's the bogey warning oscillator telling us there are some unidentified ships approaching.
But we can't leave the Constitution.
Not old Ironside.
Your ship will be safe in this orbit for 1,000 years. We must not waste time.
Will I get a spacesuit like yours?
Will you let me fly the ship?
I see Earth children are no different from ours. There's our last warning. Quick, through the hatch into my ship, the Planeteer.
What adventures lie ahead for the Earth people? What will they find on Planaria Rex? Whose ships are those approaching the helpless Constitution? We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man.
Good evening, Doctor. You look a bit irritated, if you'll pardon my saying.
Good evening, Mr. Manning. Good evening. Yes, I am a bit annoyed, and with good reason. I don't know if I've told you that Holmes has been listening in to these reminiscences. Well, here's the letter I received from him after last week's story. Read it.
All right. My dear Watson, I noticed that in your last broadcast, you gave way to your regrettable habit of emotionalizing your story. Detection, my dear fellow, is or ought to be an exact science. To tinge it with romanticism is like introducing a love story into the fifth proposition of Euclid. As ever, Sherlock Holmes.
Huh? What do you think of that?
But the emotion was there. You couldn't tamper with the truth.
Holmes has always maintained that the truth is not in what you say, but in the impression you create in the other person's mind. Well, Holmes always complained that I overstress the human element in recording his cases. How well I remember the attitude with which he received the publishing of my first book about his adventures. It was a cold morning in early spring. We were sitting on either side of a cheery fire in our rooms in Baker Street. A thick fog rolled down between the dun-colored houses. Our gas was lit. It shone on the white cloth and glimmered on the coffee cups and on the silver. The breakfast table had not yet been cleared away. Holmes had been silent all the morning, smoking his long cherrywood pipe, which usually displaced his favorite tray when he was in a disputatious mood. Altogether, he was not in the best of tempers.
Matches. Where are the matches? Look at that confounded fog. What happens to all the matches in this house, I'd like to know.
My dear Holmes, why not use the tongs and a live coal if you want to relight your pipe?
Huh? Oh! I burned myself.
For heaven's sake, Holmes, stop struggling. Something's annoying you. Why not get it off your chest?
It's that confounded book of yours.
What?
Sensationalism, Watson. Rank sensationalism. You're always placing the emphasis on the crime. Crime is common, logic is rare. You should stress the logic. You have degraded what should have been a course of lectures into a series of tales.
Now, really, Holmes, that's not logical. You're always complaining that crime is falling off. You say there are no first-class criminals left.
Quite. And therefore, if you depend on the crime to hold your readers, you will soon be a back number. Criminals. Bah! They've lost all their enterprise and originality. My practice seems to be degenerating into an agency for recovering lost lead pencils and giving good advice to young ladies from boarding schools.
Advice to the lovelorn, eh?
Well, look at this. This note. It came by this morning's post. Here. The last straw, that's what it is. Read it.
Let's have a look. Dear Mr. Holmes, I am very anxious to consult you as to whether I should or I should not accept the situation which has been offered me as a governess. I shall call at 10:30 tomorrow if I do not inconvenience you. Yours faithfully, Violet Hunter. Where is she? Call at 11 now.
Exactly. She's late. Just like a woman.
I say, Holmes, you should see your young lady now walking briskly up the street.
I see. Brisk, purposeful manner. Nice, bright, intelligent face.
Yes, it is. She's stopping at our door.
Oh, maybe something in this case after all, my dear Watson. She's not the hysterical sort that makes a fuss over nothing. There she is. Come in. How do you do?
This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Quite. And this is my colleague, Dr. Watson.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I trust you'll excuse my troubling you, Mr. Holmes, but I've had a very strange experience. And as I have no relations of any sort to advise me, I thought I'd just come to you.
I shall be very happy to do anything that I can.
Well, I've been a governess for 5 years in the family of Colonel Kent Monroe. He's been transferred to Nova Scotia, so that for the last few months I've been without a situation. Well, I advertised and answered advertisements, but without success. You see, the money I had saved began to run out, and I was at my wit's end.
Indeed. Go on.
Well, yesterday I called in at a well-known employment agency run by a Miss Stoker. When I arrived, the outer office was filled with young ladies looking for situations. I was told to wait. But I did. After about half an hour, my name was called out. Though the door to Miss Stoker's private office was ajar, she could be started with a considerably stout man with a round, smiling face and a heavy chin. His eyes were like two little slits. Well, I advanced to the door, my knees trembling. Oh, Mr. Holmes, if you know how I needed that work. Come in, my dear. Come in. Mr. Newcastle. This is Miss, what is your name, my dear? Miss Hunter. Violet Hunter. Oh, yes. Miss Hunter.
Capital, capital. I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm sure you'll do, Miss Hunter.
I hope so, Mr. Newcastle.
You're looking for a situation as a governess?
Yes, sir.
And what salary do you ask?
Well, I had £4 a month in my last place.
£4? Sweating. Frank Sweating. How anyone could have the audacity to offer that to a lady with such attraction, such accomplishment. A lady fitted to the rearing of a child who may someday play a considerable part in the history of this country. Your salary with me, madam, will commence at £100 a year.
100? Oh, Mr. Newcastle.
And furthermore, it is my custom to advance my young ladies half their salary beforehand.
May I ask where you live, Mr. Newcastle?
Hampshire, a charming rural spot. The Copper Beaches is the name of the place, 5 miles north of Winchester, or the dearest old house.
And what would be my duty?
One child, a dear little romper, age 6. Oh, if you could see him killing cockroaches with a slipper. Smack. He's gone before you could wink.
My sole duty, then, is to take care of this child.
Well, I'm sure your good sense would suggest that you obey any little commands which my wife might give, provided, of course, that they were such as a lady might obey with propriety. You see no difficulty, eh?
Oh, I should be happy to make myself useful.
Oh, by the way, in dress, for example, we're saddy people. Saddy but kind-hearted. Now, if you were asked to wear a particular dress that we might give you wouldn't object to our little whim.
No.
Or to sit here or there, that wouldn't be offensive to you.
Why, no.
Or to cut your hair short before you come to it.
My hair?
Oh, yes, it is quite essential. It's a little fancy of my wife, you see. And ladies' fancies, my dear, Miss Hunter, must be consulted.
My hair? Oh, no, I couldn't.
No, what a pity. Well, in that case, Miss Stoker, I'd best inspect a few more of your young ladies.
Good day, then, Miss Hunter. I'm afraid you must consider yourself stuck from our list. Oh, but you can hardly expect us to exert ourselves to find another such opening for you. But, Miss Stoper, good day, Miss Hunter.
Oh, just a minute, Miss Stoper. Let's not be too hard on the young lady. After all, my request was a little sudden. Perhaps, Miss Hunter, you'd like 24 hours in which to consider the matter. And in view of the fact that you have particularly beautiful hair, I might be willing to raise the salary to £120 a year. To recompense you for our little eccentricities.
Unusual, most unusual, my dear Miss Hunter. What do you make of it, Watson?
Well, perhaps the gentleman's wife is a lunatic and he wishes to humor her in her fancy in order to prevent an outbreak.
Possibly, Watson, possibly.
In
any case, it doesn't seem a nice household for a young lady.
But the money, Mr. Holmes, the money, and I need it so.
Well, yes, the pay is good. Too good. Why should they give you £120 when they can have their pick for 40? There must be some strong reason.
But I have no choice.
Then you've made up your mind to accept?
Yes, I must. I thought if I told you the circumstances, you would understand afterwards if I wanted your help. And Mr. Holmes, I could feel so much stronger if I knew you were behind me.
Certainly you may carry that feeling away with you. And if at any time you should find yourself in danger...
Danger? Well, what danger could there be?
My dear Miss Hunter, you could cease to be a danger if we could define it. But remember, at any time, day or night, just telegraph me, and we'll come to your help.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Thank you.
Holmes, it's been almost a week since that charming Miss Hunter called. Conditions must be pretty good at the Copper Beaches, or we'd have heard from her.
You never know, Watson. You never know. She may not be able to get to a telegraph office.
Huh? Nonsense, Holmes. Nothing very dreadful can happen out in the open country like that.
That's where you're wrong, Watson. My experience that the vilest alleys in London do not present a more dreadful record of sin than does the smiling, beautiful countryside.
Oh, you mean Crete? What do you mean?
The pressure of public opinion is greatest in the towns. There is no lane so vile that the scream of a talkless child or the thud of a drunkard's blow does not beget sympathy and assistance from the neighbors. But the countryside, my dear Watson, filled with its lonely houses, think of the hellish cruelty, the hidden wickedness. Life may go on year in, year out in such places, and no one the wiser. Had our young friend gone to Winchester, I should not have had this fear for her safety. It's the 5 miles of country which makes the danger. See what it is, Watson.
Oh, thank you. It's a telegram to you, Holmes.
Oh, give it to me. It's from Miss Hunter.
Oh, well, what's she say?
Come at once. We'll meet you at the Black Swan Hotel, Winchester, at 3 this afternoon. And at my wit's end, don't fail me.
What do you suppose is happening?
Hurry, Watson. There's no time to lose. There's a train from Waterloo Station in half an hour. If we can only get to her in time.
In just a moment, we will follow Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson on their strange journey.
Yes, there's the Black Swan. Opposite the station.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Miss Hunter waiting for us on the doorstep. She looks a bit pale and shaky, Holmes?
Yes. Poor girl is obviously frightened.
Mr. Holmes, so kind of you to come. You too, Dr. Watson.
Oh, not at all. Pleasure.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you how anxious I've been.
There, now, Miss Hunter. Perhaps if we go inside, they can give us a private sitting room.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. I've ordered tea this way.
Yes, that's better. Nice, cozy fire. Close the door, will you, Watson? That's right. Now then, suppose we let the doctor do the pouring while you tell the story. First of all, how do you like the tea?
2 lumps of a little tea.
Oh, righto.
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
Yes, and now?
Well, first of all, I've had no actual ill treatment from Mr. and Mrs. Newcastle, but he's frightened me. However, I'd best begin at the beginning.
Yes, that is generally a good place to start.
Well, Mr. Holmes, Papa Beaches is a large, sinister-looking house, almost completely surrounded by woods. It's impressive. From the moment of my arrival, I was met at the door by Mr. Newcastle and his wife.
And, is he...
No, Mrs. She's not married.
I see.
She's a small, pale-faced woman, much younger than Mr. Newcastle. In fact, I gather that she's his second wife. You see, there was a daughter by the first marriage. A girl now over 20, but she's not living at the house. Mr. Newcastle said that she couldn't get along with her stepmother, so he sent her to America, to Philadelphia.
And does Mrs. Newcastle strike you as a difficult woman to get along with?
Oh, no, Mr. Holmes. She's shy and rather quiet. More than once I surprised her in tears. At first I thought it might be worry over the disposition of her child.
What's the matter with his disposition?
Well, he's badly spoiled. He has an ungovernable temper. He seems to take great delight in torturing birds and small animals.
Pleasant little beast.
And the rest of the household?
Well, there's only one servant. Toller is his name. A rough, uncouth man with a perpetual smell of drink about him. Why the keeping, I don't know. Except perhaps because he's the only one who can manage Carlo.
Carlo?
Yes. Carlo's a huge, underfed mastiff who's kept chained in the stables during the day, but at night they let him out. It's a terrible beast. Even Mr. Newcastle is afraid of him. I'm sure he'd try and he'd trust us with a grip.
I wonder why Mr. Newcastle desires such ferocious protection.
I don't know, unless there's something on the top floor of the west wing that he wants to protect.
The west wing, eh?
Yes, the door that leads into it is opposite my room, and it's kept securely locked.
Yes, it looks nasty to me, Holmes.
Please, Watson, please, don't interrupt.
Well, the second day after my arrival, immediately after breakfast, Mr. Newcastle asked me to put on a dress which had been laid out for me on my bed.
What was it like?
Well, it wasn't a new dress, Mr. Holmes, but the material was excellent and of a particularly brilliant shade, and electric blue.
Electric blue, charming color.
I put it on and went down to the living room. Mr. Newcastle had placed a chair for me by the front window. He asked me to sit there with my back to the window and to read to him from a French novel. Well, I read for an hour, and at the end of that time, he said I might go upstairs and sing.
Strange.
This experience has been repeated every morning since then. Well, as time passed, I became more and more curious. Why were they so careful to keep my face turned away from the window? Naturally, I was consumed with the desire to see what was going on behind my back. So today I devised a means. I noticed at breakfast that Mr. Newcastle had had quite a few drinks. A happy thought seized me. My hand mirror had been broken, so I concealed a piece of it in my handkerchief and later in my book, feeling sure that Mr. Newcastle was too drunk to notice. Holding the book up, I was able to see everything behind me.
And what did you see?
Well, at first there was nothing. At the second glance, however, I saw a young man in a gray suit leaning against the railing which bordered our field. He was looking earnestly in my direction. Mr. Newcastle must have noticed my surprise, for he burst out angrily.
Really, Miss Hunter, your attention must be wandering. That's the second time that you've made that passage.
Oh.
Furthermore, there's an impertinent fellow up the road who's staring at you. Is he a friend of yours?
Oh, no, Mr. Newcastle, I don't know anyone around here.
Well, kindly turn around and motion him to go away.
Oh, wouldn't it be better not to notice him?
Do what I signal. Really don't encourage you to have any followers.
Very well, Mr. Newcastle. Where?
Impertinent fellow. That will be all for this morning, Miss Hunter. You may go to your room.
Oh, but Mr. Newcastle, I hope you don't.
Go to your room, I say.
Yes, sir.
And after this, you needn't bother to wear that blue dress.
Oh, dear, what a frightful household. If I could only get away from here, it's all so depressing. What? But he's left the key in the door to the west room. He must be there. I wonder what's inside. Oh, it wouldn't hurt to take just one look. Oh, how dark it is. Misty. Wait. There's 3 doors. The middle one is barred at the end of another one big here. And the wire. Oh, goodness, it's in here. What was that? Oh, it must have been a bat. Someone's in here. Or maybe it's something. I can't stand it. Too eerie. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out. Oh, dear, there comes Mr. Newcastle. What's his name? Oh, Mr. Newcastle.
Was you then? I thought it must be when I saw the door open.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My dear young lady, and what frightened you?
I was foolish enough to go into that vacant wing, but it was so lonely and eerie, and the bat swooped down into my face.
Is that all?
Well, what else could there be?
And why do you suppose that I keep that door locked?
I'm sure I don't know.
To keep people out who have no business there, you see?
I'm sure if I'd known.
Well, you know now, my dear young lady. And if you ever put your foot over that threshold again, I'll throw you to the basket.
What a dreadful experience.
Mr. Holmes, I feel sure there's someone locked in that room. Someone who's unhappy, perhaps tortured. Oh, good heaven, it's almost 5. I promised to be back by 6, and Mrs. Newcastle are going out. If Mr. Newcastle should discover where I've been...
You acted like a brave and sensible girl, Miss Hunter.
Yes, indeed you have.
Do you think you could do one more thing?
I can try, Mr. Holmes.
Dr. Watson and I will be at the top of the hills by 7. The Newcastles will be gone by that time, and I don't imagine the mastiff will be let loose until they return.
Oh, no, Mr. Holmes. It would be too dangerous for them to get back to the house.
Good. We will hope the killer is still drunk. At any rate, you must get us into the house. We must explore the west wing.
I'll do my best, Mr. Holmes. Now I must hurry. Goodbye, Mr. Holmes.
Goodbye, Miss Hunter. Well, my dear Holmes, what do you make of it all? The blue dress and the man in front of the house.
Obviously, they've had someone have her impersonating someone. Someone young whose hair has been cut off during an illness. That someone is probably the person imprisoned in the west wing.
How sinister.
That is not the most sinister part of Miss Hunter's story.
No, what is that?
The unpleasant disposition of the child.
Oh, what's that got to do with it?
My dear Watson, as a medical man, you know that a child's tendencies can be discovered by a study of the parents. But heredity is a science to be worked backwards as well. You can get a good insight into the character of the parents by studying the children. This child is cruel, abnormally cruel. He probably inherited it from one of his parents. I only hope nothing serious happens before 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes, what a night. The first thunderstorm of the season. Listen to that dog. He's in an ugly temper.
Listen to the house. With this group of copper beeches in front of it. Yes. Miss Hunter waiting for us in the doorway.
The coast is secure.
Come in. You must be close to the street.
Oh, you're rather wet yourself. Be careful, you know. You'll be catching
What? What's that sounding?
It's Tola. He was just going out to release the dog. I sent him to the wine cellar, then locked him in.
Splendid.
I managed to get Tola's fuses off him. He was quite drunk. They're duplicates of Mr. Rucastle.
Better and better, but come along upstairs. We've no time to wait. Have you got your revolver handy, Watson?
Yes.
Good.
Good heavens, that lightning must have hit quite near here.
The copper beeches, no doubt.
No, this tree. Oh, this one. That's right. Nothing here. Come along.
Listen to that rain on the roof.
The middle door, you said. Hello in there. No answer. I don't like that. Watson, help me remove this bedstead, will you? That's right. Tied at one side. Here, cut the rope. That's it.
The door's locked.
Oh, you must break it open then. Come on. 1, 2. Hello. There's no one here.
Baron Rucastle made away with the prisoner.
You may be right. He's probably been carried off.
Yes, but how?
Through the skylight. It's still open. Shut that table over here.
What are you going to do?
Stand on it, of course. Yes. 2 pairs of footprints, and there's a ladder resting against the easel. Oh, that's how he did it.
But that's not possible. The ladder wasn't there when the Rucastles went away.
Then he must have come back.
He's a dangerous and clever man. Listen. Yes. I think I hear his steps on the stairs.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, kill us all.
I thought I'd find you here. You villain, what have you done with your daughter?
I'm the one that brought that. You see, you Robert. I've caught you. You're in my car. I'll take you. Hello. I'll take you.
Trying to get the dog where we found his trail.
Quick, Watson. We must close the front door.
Let me up, Mr. Rucastle. Loose the door. He's killed Mr. Rucastle. Oh, quick. It'll be too late.
Hold on. Get up the keys, mister. I'll let him out.
All right. Oh, it's Carlo. He's got Mr. Rucastle by the throat.
Quick, Watson, give me your revolver. Careful, you don't hit the man by mistake. Shut up and stand back, Watson.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, thank heaven. You killed Carlo. I thought it was too late. It's so horrible. I think I...
Watson, until bring Rucastle into the house, will you?
Oh, it is so strange. Weak.
Please, it's all over. Just you go upstairs and pack your bag. Dr. Watson and I are going to take you back to town with us on the 9 o'clock train. So you think, Watson, that Rucastle will live?
I'm afraid so, Holmes.
Oh, I'm so glad to get away from that deep situation.
I say, Holmes, just what did happen to the prisoner in the West Wing, and who was it?
It's all so disgustingly simple, my dear Watson. It's Rucastle's daughter, as I suspected. It seems that she had inherited some money from her mother, who was Rucastle's first wife. When she threatened to get married and take a small fortune with her, her father tried to get her to sign a paper giving the money to him. He worried her until she got brain fever and had to have all her hair cut off.
Oh, what a brute.
I got all these details from Tiller. Still, her young man stuck to her, and she to him. After that, Mr. Newcastle locked his daughter up and brought Miss Hunter down from London in order to impersonate her, get rid of the persistent shooter. This young gentleman, however, was a persevering chap, and having greased Toller's palm very thoroughly, he learned the true state of affairs. With the help of Toller and a long step-ladder, he rescued his fiancée. They're now headed for Southampton with a special license, and this time Miss Newcastle, or rather Mrs. Fowler, is really going to America on our honeymoon.
Oh, this is quite romantic, isn't it, Holmes?
You and your romance, Watson. You're a regular old woman.
Well, I'm glad we were able to help the poor thing, but I wouldn't go back to that house again. Not for twice the salary.
Oh, that reminds me, Miss Hunter. I was talking to a friend of mine about you the other day. She had a private school in Walsall. I believe she said she had an opening for you.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, you're a darling.
Now, my dear, it's quite inconsequential. Already know. Shut up, Watson.
Well, Dr. Watson, you certainly had some exciting times when you were living with Sherlock Holmes.
I certainly did, Mr. Manning. Those were the days. I mean, never a dull moment. Yes, when I think of the thrilling experiences that Holmes brought into my life, I can almost...
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. This is the story that tells how Tonto once saved the Lone Ranger. And Tonto were riding westward across desolate country. They were looking at the tracks of a wagon train when suddenly a thin young man stepped from behind a big boulder. He held a rifle to his shoulder and shouted,
"Right in or I'll shoot!" That's it. Now get off those horses and don't try to reach for a gun.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto dismounted slowly.
Easy, steady, big fellow.
Easy. Then the masked man dropped his hand with lightning speed and fired from the hip. His bullet smashed the rifle and sent it flying from the young man's hands.
Now raise your hands. Search him, Tonto. See if he has any other weapons.
I haven't. I should have known better than to try to hold up a masked outlaw.
I'm not an outlaw, and you don't look like one.
I'm not. I held you up because I hoped to find food in your saddlebags.
What's your name?
Wingate. Dave Wingate.
What are you doing alone in country like this?
I was with a wagon train. It passed here.
Why did you leave the train?
I was driven away.
Why?
I didn't do anything wrong. I was framed by Cap Sanders.
Cap Sanders?
He was hired as wagon master. Every night he posted guards to watch for dangerous redskins.
Sioux Indian dangerous, but Crow Indian friendly. One of our best friends is chief of the Crow Indians who live north of here. Dave, I want to hear how you were framed, but first we'll prepare a meal.
Oh, I'm near starved.
During the meal, Dave told about being on guard duty during a dark night when he saw two men sneaking beyond the circle of wagons.
So I followed them. They met a third man, and I got close enough to hear their voices. One was Cap Sanders, and another the guide he'd hired. We called him Dakota Dick. The man they met was an Indian.
Could you hear what was said?
I was there only a minute, and then I sneezed. Cap Sanders and Dakota Dick rushed at me, grabbed me, and disarmed me. They were raving mad.
What about the Indian?
He disappeared. Dakota Dick wanted to shoot me, but Sanders said that'd be hard to explain. He said he had a better way of getting rid of me. They took me to camp, roused the men, and accused me of sleeping on guard duty.
I wonder why they wanted to get rid of you.
I don't know. Unless they thought I overheard something they wanted kept secret.
Did you?
No. The Indian jabbered something I couldn't understand, and Sanders told him to mosey along.
Mosey along?
Yes, he said, mosey along, you Injun, walk on. It sounded odd, that's why I remembered it.
Oh, maybe him talk Sioux Indian language. Maybe him say, mosey on, you Indian, walk on.
Well, that's it.
Sanders told the Indian to make an attack at a landmark known as Medicine Rock.
Medicine Rock? The wagons are supposed to reach there tonight.
And Sanders is working with Sioux Indians to attack the pioneers. They must be warned. I'll try to overtake the wagons.
Me go with you?
No, Tonto, I'll make better time alone. You stay with Dave. Easy, steady, big fella. Come on, Silver!
It was late afternoon when the Lone Ranger overtook the train of covered wagons. He drew abreast of the first one in the line.
Easy, Silver, easy.
And shouted to the driver.
Frisbee! Are you Jim Frisbee?
Yes, your mask.
No time to explain the mask now. There may be an ambush ahead. Stop the wagons while I tell you about it.
Stop the wagons!
The wagons were halted at the foot of a long hill. Jim Frisbee and men from other wagons listened, while the Lone Ranger told about the possible ambush at Medicine Rock in the valley ahead.
It's just beyond that hill. You're within a couple of miles of the place.
2 of our men rode ahead. If there's any sign of trouble, they'll come back and lead us over a different route. Otherwise, we'll go on as we planned.
Are Cap Sanders and Dakota Dick the men who went ahead?
Well, yes.
Frisbee, if my information is correct, they're helping the Indians plan the ambush.
Why would they do that?
For money. If you people are massacred, they'll be able to take your cash and let the Indians have your horses and supplies.
They're not crooks.
I'm sure they are.
I'd say you're the crook. What's your game? Yeah,
The Lone Ranger realized when he heard the angry comments that he could never persuade the men to follow him over a different trail that would lead safely past the dangerous valley.
Where'd you get your information?
Nothing I might say would convince you that I've told the
Hey,
truth.
look! The top of the hill! Engines! They're Sioux engines! They're on the warpath! They're coming this way!
Now you must fight. I'll help you.
Form a circle! Two men!
As the Indians rode down the long hill, the Lone Ranger helped the pioneers quickly move the wagons into a tight circle. Then the gunfire started. The savages, who greatly outnumbered the pioneers, circled around the wagons, firing from the backs of their horses. The Lone Ranger fought at the side of Jim Frisbee. The first attack was driven off. The Indians withdrew to the hilltop. The Lone Ranger watched them through binoculars, then said,
Frisbee, look through these glasses. You see Cap Sanders and Dakota Dick talking to the Indians.
Double-crossers. You were right about them.
They double-crossed you, and they lied about Dave Wingate falling asleep at his post.
How'd you know about Wingate?
I met him on the trail.
During the lull in battle, the Lone Ranger told how he had met Dave Wingate and learned of the attack. Then the Indians near the hilltop, out of gun range, showed signs of activity.
They're starting another attack.
We've used more than half our ammunition. Get set, boys. We'll go down fighting. Here they come.
Every man inside the circle of wagons knew that the end was near.
Make every shot count.
The Indians knew it, too. They felt that victory was in their grasp, when suddenly new war cries sounded from the north.
Look over there. More Indians coming.
Those are friendly Indians. They're members of a Crow tribe.
You mean they're on our side?
Yes, Toddle's riding beside the chief. And there's Dave Wingate.
Boys, we're saved. Never mind sparing the ammunition. Let them have it.
Tonto and his friends changed the tide of battle quickly. Many Indians went down. The others tried to flee, but they were hotly pursued by the Crows, and it was easy to see that none would escape. That night, in the light of campfires, Jim Frisbee told the pioneers how Dave Wingate had been unfairly punished.
And, men, I say every one of us owes his life to Dave.
That's right, Jim. I didn't do anything. We owe our lives to Tonto and the Lone Ranger.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Railroad Hour. And from Hollywood, here comes the star-studded show train. Tonight, your railroads, through the Association of American Railroads, present the delightful musical comedy hit, Good News. In our star-studded cast, you will hear the host of our series, Gordon MacRae. Two lovely guest stars, Dinah Shore and Jane Powell, and a great cast of Hollywood featured players. The entire production set to the music of Carmen Dragon's orchestra and brought to you by the American Railroads. The same railroads that bring you most of the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the fuel you burn, and the things you use in your daily life. And now, here is Gordon MacRae.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gordon MacRae helping to bring you the first in our series of musical comedy successes. Tonight, the Railroad Hour show train presents the Lawrence Schwab, De Silva, Brown, and Henderson musical hit, Good News, starring Dinah Shore as Connie Lane, Jane Powell as Babe O'Day, yours truly as Tommy Marlowe, and a great supporting cast including Jim Backus, Mary Lee Robb, Lou Merrill, and Rye Billsbury. Marvin Miller is our announcer. Our chorus is under the direction of Norman Luboff, and our orchestra is presided over by Maestro Carmen Dragon, who is now playing the final strains of our title number, Good News.
Now the curtain rises on the first act of Good News. In the huge gymnasium on the campus at Tate College, Babe O'Day, a blue-eyed little blonde co-ed, is trying to teach a new dance step to a group of freshmen.
Stop the music! Stop the music! Of all the dumb clunks, you freshmen take the prize. Now, if you kids want to be in the swim at the dance tomorrow night, after our team beats Colton, you better pay attention and learn this step. I'm going to show you just once more, and that's all. So watch carefully. Okay, Maestro, give. Here is the drag. See how it goes. Down on the heels, up on the toes. That's the way to do the varsity drag. Hotter than hot, newer than new, meaner than mean, bluer than blue. Gets as much applause as waving a flag. You can pass many a class, whether you're dumb or wise, if you all answer the call when your professor cries. Everybody down on the heels, up on the toes. Stay after school, learn how it goes. Everybody do the varsity drag.
Come on, kids, break it up. Break it up, I said.
Well, just a minute, Beef Saunders. What's the big idea?
Tommy Marlowe's going to meet me here in the gym any minute.
Tommy Marlowe? It beats me why Tate's greatest football star wants to waste time with a lug like you.
Well, if you must know, I got to teach him a couple of secret plays to pull in the game with Colton tomorrow.
You're going to teach Tommy Marlowe football? That's like Marjorie Main showing Jane Russell how to wear a bathing suit. Come on now, everybody, once more. Down on your heels.
Okay, if you don't believe me, here's Tommy now. Ask him yourself.
Hiya, fellas. Hiya, gals. Say, what's going on, babe? You showing the kids how to do the varsity drag?
Let's get more on the beat, Tommy. Let's say trying to show them. This bunch doesn't have any more backbone than a plate full of jelly.
Oh, now look, kids, the varsity drag is something everybody ought to know. It's one of the nicest subjects you can learn at Tate. You see, we've always thought knowledge is not. We should be taught to dance. Right here at Tate, we're up to date. We teach a great new dance.
First lesson right now.
You'll love it and how you'll love it. Here is the drag. See how it goes. Down on the heels, up on the toes. That's the way to do the varsity drag.
Hotter than hot, newer than new, meaner than mean, bluer than blue. Gets as much applause as waving a flag.
Well, you can pass many a class, whether
dumb or wise, if you all answer the call, when the professor cries,
Everybody
down on your heels, up on your toes, stay after school, man outgoes. Everybody give the varsity
Tommy Marlowe.
What's up, Bobby?
Well, Coach Johnson's holding a special meeting with the team down in his office. I guess everybody's going to be there, because I got to go, too.
Coach even wants the substitutes, huh, Bobby?
Oh, lay off, Heels Beals. You're speaking of the man I love.
Bobby? I thought you preferred the athletic type.
Bobby is the athletic type. He plays football.
Preferably quarterback.
He plays baseball.
Preferably shortstop.
He wrestles.
Preferably women.
Well, don't worry about it, Bobby. You'll get your chance to play tomorrow, all right, in my place.
What? Oh, no, you're kidding, aren't you, Tommy?
No, Bobby, I'm not kidding. Didn't pass my astronomy exam. Professor Kenyon just told me.
Oh, Tommy, no. If you can't play, we're licked. Colton will beat us 50-0. Tommy, darling.
Oh, Pat, hello.
I just heard the devastating news. How could you fail to pass, Tommy? How could you, when you knew perfectly well that I bought a new gown for the prom?
Well, Tommy, isn't there any chance at all that you can play?
Well, there's just a slim chance, Bobby. Professor Kenyon is going to give me another exam. And, Pat, you're so good in astronomy that I thought if you'd help me study, I might be able to pass.
Oh, Tommy, darling, you know I'll help you.
I was sure you would, Pat. Why, I would have bet my last nickel on it if I were a betting man.
And aren't you a betting man?
I don't ever gamble, sweetheart, I refuse. Not because I hate to, simply 'cause I always lose. Lucky boys who gamble tell me that it pays, but I've got luck that beats their luck 1,000 different ways. Lucky in love, lucky in love. What else matters if you're lucky in love? Good breaks are few skies are blue, but bad luck scatters every time I'm with you. I don't mind that at poker I'm green if I stand ace high with a beautiful queen. I'll say I'm lucky in love. If you take me, that will make me oh so lucky in love.
Lucky in love, lucky in love. What else matters if you're lucky in love? Good breaks are few skies are blue, but bad luck scatters every time I'm with you.
Now I won't mind that at poker I'm green if I stand ace high with a beautiful queen. I'll say I'm lucky in love. If you take me, that will make me oh so lucky in
Tommy, you're sweet. Oh, but I must leave, darling. I have an engagement.
Well, gosh, Pat, I ought to start studying right now. Can't you break it?
Break an engagement with my hairdresser? Oh, darling, that's impossible. I'll meet you, Sessoir, at the bench behind the chemistry laboratory. Around 8-ish.
I still don't understand why you dragged me down here to this little bench behind the chem lab.
Oh, Connie, darling, I'm in trouble. Dreadful trouble. Do you know Tommy Marlowe?
No. Oh, of course I know that he's the captain of the football team and that he's your friend, but I don't know him.
Well, you're going to.
Oh, Pat, when?
Tonight. You heard that Tommy didn't pass his astronomy exam?
Well, yes, but they say you're going to tutor him.
Well, I was, but confidentially, Beef Saunders' new car was just delivered, a luscious red convertible, and he's asked me to go riding with him. So I want you to take my place. Oh, there's Beef now. I'll have to run.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, here comes Tommy.
Oh, do I look all right?
Why, you look perfect, darling. And anyway, all you're going to tutor him in is astronomy. He'll learn about women from me. Bye.
Gosh, Pat, I didn't expect you'd be running time. Oh, pardon me. I thought you were Pat Bingham.
I'm Connie Lane, Mr. Marlowe. Pat asked me to meet you at this bench and help you with your astronomy. She has a terrible headache.
Oh, the poor kid. That's too bad. And it's nice of you to help, but trying to teach me anything is going to be pretty tough to take. Sort of like going to the dentist.
Oh, no, it won't, Mr. Marlowe, because I'm going to put something in your head, not take it out.
Well, I guess there's plenty of room. And won't you call me Tommy?
All right, Tommy. Now, what is it about astronomy that's so difficult for you?
You know, I just this minute figured that out. Something has always been missing before. Astronomy is a subject for two to study.
Good. Well, then open your textbook to page 85. You think there's enough light from the street lamp to see?
Oh, yes. And everything I see is very beautiful.
The stars are beautiful tonight, aren't they?
Oh, I wasn't thinking of the stars.
But you must if you're going to pass that exam tomorrow. Now tell me, what planet is that?
Planet? Oh, well, let's see. What's the use of guessing? There's too many of them.
All right, I'll tell you. That's Venus. You see?
Yes, I see. I'm looking right at her, and she's beautiful.
Well, I don't know how Patricia would like my being Venus.
Oh? What do you know about Patricia?
She's my cousin.
Your cousin? Well, then why haven't I seen you before around the sorority house?
Oh, I'm not a member. I'm sort of a poor relation, you know.
Well, does that worry you much?
Not particularly. A lot of things in this world make up for the shortage of money.
I'm listening, teacher.
Well, there are so many kinds of riches, and only one of them is gold. The wealth you miss, remember this. Worthwhile things cannot be bought or sold. Belongs to everyone. The best things in life are free. The stars belong to everyone. They gleam there for you and me. The flowers in spring sing. The moonbeams that shine, they're yours, and love can come to everyone. The best things in life are free.
Gee, I never thought of things that way before, Connie, and you know, from now on, that's my philosophy,
Please, Tommy, we're wasting time. Now, what's that other planet way up there?
Oh, wait a minute. I used to know. Now, don't tell me.
Never mind. It's Mars.
Oh, yes. Faithful old Mars. Still there.
Of course. Mars is in the same constellation as Venus, and he looks right across at her all the time. Can you remember that?
Well, how can Mars forget? With Venus right here at his side.
Oh, Tommy, please. You have to study.
I know. And you've already taught me so much. The flowers in spring, the robins that sing, sunbeams that shine, they're yours.
They're mine.
And so down comes the curtain on the first act of that grand musical comedy, Good News, brought to you by the Railroads of the Nation, cooperating through the Association of American Railroads. And now I'd like to present to you William T. Pharisee, president of that association. Tonight, Mr. Pharisee is in St. Louis, Missouri, attending a meeting of the National Association of Shippers Advisory Boards. Mr. Pharisee.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you have just heard, there is now meeting in St. Louis an organization representing the shippers of most of the nation's freight. These businessmen, 25,000 of them, work with the railroads to improve service. You and I and everybody in the country benefit directly from their cooperation. Long ago, the railroads learned that to give the very best service, they not only had to work with each other, but also with the public. 25 years ago, one group of their customers set up the first Regional Shippers Advisory Board. The work of the board was so valuable that soon there were 13 boards covering the entire country. In 1937, they joined to form the National Association of Shippers Advisory Boards. These boards, while working with the railroads, are not made up of railroad men. Instead, they are made up of shippers who work with each other and with the railroads to help provide the whole country with more adequate and more efficient transportation of freight. These boards made their greatest contribution so far during the Second World War, when their consistent, organized help was one of the things which made it possible for the railroads to handle the tremendous volume of wartime traffic in such a way as to shorten the timetable to victory. So tonight, we take pleasure in saluting the Shippers Advisory Boards and their National Association for their great contribution to meeting the transportation needs of America. And the railroads of America, your railroads, welcome you, all of you, to the first Railroad Hour.
And now the curtain rises on the second act of Good News. It's the next morning, and Tommy Marlowe is walking up the steps of Astronomy Hall, ready to take his examination, when he's stopped by the voice of his roommate, Bobby Randall, calling excitedly,
Hey, Tommy! Tommy!
What's the matter, Bobby?
Well, how's the astronomy? You gonna pass that test?
Oh, I sure am. I was coached last night by the most wonderful girl in the world.
You mean Pat Bingham?
No, her cousin, Connie Lane. Oh, Bobby, she's a dream.
Yeah, but what about Pat?
The Queen is dead. Long live the Queen.
You mean it, Tommy?
Well, certainly I mean it. Why?
Why, I love Pat, Tommy. Well, I've loved her from the very first day you laid eyes on her. But I was too honorable to say so, and besides, you outweigh me.
Then bless you, my children, bless you.
Oh, Patricia, if I ever get a chance to...
Shut up, Bobby. Here she comes.
Well, I'll run along and let you give her the RKO privately.
The RKO?
Yeah, the Royal Kiss-Off. Good luck, pal.
Tommy. Oh, Tommy, darling, I want to apologize to you.
Apologize?
Well, when I asked Connie to help you out, I didn't think she'd be stupid enough to make you study all night.
Oh, I didn't find her stupid. She wants me to pass.
You mean I don't? Why, you must know me better than that, Tom, or you never would have proposed to me.
Yes, I did propose, didn't I?
Did you? I have it in writing. I always keep the letter right here, next to my heart, you know.
Well, the fatal hour has struck. I go to my doom.
Tommy, I was afraid I wouldn't get here in time to wish you luck.
Well, thank you, Venus.
Go to it, Mars.
And, Tommy, here's a kiss from me to wish you the best.
There's the last bell.
Well, so long, and thanks for everything.
Oh, I want him to pass. Tom Marlowe, you've just got to pass.
Why, Connie, darling, I never knew you were such a rooter for the school.
Oh, I love the school.
Well, just don't let that affection bubble over onto Tom Marlowe, darling. Remember, he's mine, if I want him. And I'll want him if he passes that exam this morning.
Well, is yours, but...
Just imagine that he loves me dearly. Must imagine that I'm his sincerely. I'm pretending that he's Sandy, I love you. Seems that he's there as the day is closing, on his knees there. I hear him proposing. He's not present, still it's pleasant to imagine that it's true.
Just imagine that he loves you dearly. Just imagine that he's yours sincerely.
He's not present, still it's pleasant. Just imagine that it's
Hi, gals. Is the exam over yet?
Oh, not yet, Bobby, but I'm not worried. Connie says he'll pass all right. Oh, by the way, Connie, I thought you were going to press my dress for the football rally before the game.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patricia. I'll do it right away.
Yes, Connie, you press the dress while I press my suit.
Oh, Bobby, you're certainly funny when you get started.
I am?
Yes. Why don't you get started?
Oh, there you go, Pat. No one understands me. I'm a serious-minded young man.
Well, don't start making love to me if you want me to be serious.
I'll go on. Necking is out of my line.
It is silly, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. Now, take your hand, for instance. It's a nice hand, but as I hold it, it doesn't give me any thrill. Why? Well, it's power of mind over matter.
Why, Bobby, you're a psychologist.
Yeah, given 15 years of my life to it. And then there's the kiss. You know, the most overrated thing in the world. It's all in the mental attitude. Let me show you. Now that it's over, what have you got? Wet lips?
You're right.
Well, certainly. Now you just take your knees, for instance.
Bobby!
Ouch!
Mind over matter.
Well, matter got the best of mind for a minute.
How dare you make love to me, your roommate's fiancé?
Well, I thought it was all off between you and Tom.
Off nothing. I'm going to marry him if he passes the exam and wins the game tomorrow.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, hello, Beef. Got that convertible handy, Beef?
Sure.
Oh, good. I'll let you drive me back to the sorority house if you like.
Why, swell.
I'll bring the news about Tommy's exam up to the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happened, Bobby? Is exam over yet?
Well, not yet, babe. We're just... Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Here comes Professor Kenyon now. Oh.
Well, good morning, students. Lovely day, isn't it?
We hope it's going to be, Professor.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, you know, sir, this afternoon Tate plays Colton, and we thought...
Yes, I know. I'm very much interested in football.
You are?
Gee, that's great.
I should very much like to see Tate beat Colton this afternoon.
You would?
Gee, that's great.
Then tell us, Professor, how did Tom Marlowe do in the examination you just gave him?
Oh, yes, Tom Marlowe. Well, here's his paper. Let's see. Listen to this. Sir J. Herschel estimated there are a billion stars down to the 18th magnitude. What holds them in place? That was my question. And now here's Tom Marlowe's answer. Mars and Venus. They are in the same constellation, and he looks across at her all the time.
Oh, even I know that ain't right.
Oh, gosh.
Tell me, just how good is this Colton team?
Oh, terribly good, Professor.
And do we need Tom Marlowe to win?
Do we? We could use Glenn Davis, too.
Well, let me see. 75 is the passing grade. You can tell Mr. Marlowe that his grade on this examination is 76.
What?
You can't say I haven't the old Tate spirit.
Oh, Professor Kenyon, you got the spirit of 76.
It is out to win. Big men don't give in. What to do and I with no alibi. Always fighting for the red and gray. Backs go crashing through. Break that line in two. T-A-I-E, that spells victory. They must win the day.
What's going on down here?
Well, I told you we'd come up here to the sorority house and tell you the news about Tom's examination, didn't I, Pat?
Well, yes, but I didn't expect such a crowd. The team, the band, everybody.
But everybody wanted to give you the good news.
Good news?
Yes, Tommy passed his examination.
And now he can play this afternoon.
And we'll win, too. I know he will. You know, I've had a dozen omens lately that everything's going to be all right. So I know good news must be on its way. Of the night I saw my lucky star, saw that new moon shining from afar, saw a horse and he was milky white, so I know that things will be all right. Then I saw a lucky load of hay, that means good news must be on its way. When he's nigh, I'll cry, where have you been? Get your hat and coat and come right in. You're bound to do me good. Come right here to me. Good news. Good news. You're what I waited for. I wasn't slated for blue. Good news is magic to me. Bad news is tragic to me. So, Mr. Good News, you're bound to do me good. Come right here to me. Good news.
Hi, kids. What's all the shouting for?
Tommy. Hey, everybody. Here he is. Here's Tommy Marlowe.
Hey, wait a minute. What is it? What's going on?
You passed, Tommy. You passed the examination.
I did? Oh, boy. That's good news. You're bound to do me good. Come right here to me. Good news. Good news. You're what I've waited for. I wasn't slated for blues.
Good luck is magic to me. Bad luck is tragic to me.
So, Mr. Good News, you're bound to do me good.
You're bound to do me good, good news.
You're what I've waited for.
Do me good.
Good news.
Tommy, darling, I'm so pleased. Now you can play this afternoon and you can win the game. For me.
For Tate, you mean, Pat. And if I'm awful lucky. Say, you haven't seen Connie around, have you?
Oh, not since this morning, darling.
Oh, I wanted to thank her for all she's done. Oh, there she is over by the door. If you excuse me,
I wouldn't go now, darling.
Oh, why not, for Pete's sake?
Well, you see who she's with, don't you?
Oh, sure I see. Babe O'Day, Bobby Randall, and Beef Saunders. What about it?
Beef, darling, he's a very jealous young man. Or so Connie tells me.
You mean Connie and Beef?
Oh, but of course, darling. Ever since their freshman year.
Come on, everybody. A cheer for Tommy Marlowe.
Take, take, take. Rock, rock, rock. Rock, rock, rock. Marlowe!
And now I have something to say. Fellow students, I'm not here to talk about myself. But I have a real surprise for you. Tomorrow, Tommy Marlowe will be the greatest halfback in the world. Why? Because there'll be something wonderful leading him on to victory. It's love. Yes, Patricia Bingham has promised that if Tommy wins a game tomorrow, she will marry him.
lucky in love, lucky in love. What else matters if you're lucky in love?
And fellow students, don't let's forget the little girl who worked with him, who helped him pass the exam so that he can play this afternoon and win the Fair Patricia. Fellow students, don't forget Connie Lane.
I don't know what to say. I hope they'll be very happy. And now, Beef, if you've got that red convertible handy, what do you say we go for a ride? Goodbye, everybody.
Connie!
You see, darling? I told you she was Beef's girl. Now, aren't you going to finish the song for me?
What? Oh, sure. Lucky in love. If you take me, that will make me so lucky in love.
Mr. Pharisee, president of the Association of American Railroads, told you earlier on this program how the railroads and the shippers of the nation work together to produce better and better transportation. That's just part of the story, for there is the same sort of cooperation among the railroads themselves. Teamwork, indeed, is the very heart of better railroad transportation. Yes, this cooperation has made it possible for every car of any railroad to travel over the tracks of every other railroad in the country. More than that, these cars can be put into trains including cars from many different lines, can be repaired at any railroad shop. This is only one example of the cooperation that makes our continent-wide railroad operation possible. On this program, The Railroad Hour, we plan to tell you something of this fascinating story. The story back of the daily job of providing our nation with the safest, most efficient, most economical transportation in the world. We will be back with the third act of Good News in just a moment. We pause briefly now for station identification. The curtain rises on the third act of Good News. The big game between Colton and Tate is just about to begin. And as Professor Kenyon approaches the stadium, he meets Connie Lane.
Well, good afternoon, Miss Lane. Aren't you headed in the wrong direction?
No, I'm not. Nothing and nobody in this college interests me at all.
Oh? Not even the young man you tutored for the examination?
No. And what's more, I hope he loses the game. Even though I did slave to make him pass the examination.
Well, you did coach him.
And he passed, too. He got 76.
My dear, that 76 is only one of the sins of an old professor who has a young heart in football season.
Professor.
Hey, Connie, you're running the wrong direction. The game's over that way.
I'm not going, babe.
Now, Connie, don't be a drip. Tom didn't propose to Patricia. That is, not after he met you. Bobby told me the whole thing. Pat has a letter or something, and she's holding him to it. Now will you go to the game?
But I tore up my ticket, babe.
Oh, who needs a ticket? Come with me, my friend. I know where there's the best little hole in the fence that's big enough for the two of us to see everything.
A hole in the fence? Are you sure, babe?
Well, I should be. I put it there last night myself.
Oh, brother, this team ought to spend half time in a powder room, not a locker room. That Colton team did to you guys in the first half was a crime.
Oh, lay off, Bobby. We've only got a few minutes to rest up between halves, so dry up.
Rest up from what? You didn't do anything out there. What was worrying you, Pete? Did you see the boogeyman? Haven't you ever heard about tackling? Football players don't stop when you tag them. Gosh, I wish the coach had put me in. Boy, I'd show him.
Lay off, will you?
Lay off? What am I going to tell my grandchildren?
Grandpa was a football player.
Then I'll have to show them this suit without a spot on it. And as for injuries, the only scar I got is from a splinter off the bench.
What difference does it make? The game's lost anyway. Score's 3-0, and if Colton keeps on like they are, we haven't got a chance.
Well, we would if Tom would go out there and show the fellas how to play. Don't you know that when you play Tom, they all play with you? You never did this before. What's eating you?
Oh, it's nothing, Bobby. I'll be all right.
Well, if you don't win this game, you can't marry Pat. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe that's what's wrong. You don't want to marry Pat.
Shut up, Bobby.
Oh, sure, that's it. You're in love with Connie. You want to marry Connie Lane, don't you?
Bobby, will you shut up? Now, look, don't pay any attention to him, Beef. He's out of his mind.
Don't make any difference to me, Tom. If you want to marry Connie Lane, go ahead and marry her.
Why? Isn't Connie your girl, Beef?
His girl? Of course she isn't his girl. Beef's nuts about Patricia. He's been riding around his new red convertible for weeks.
Is that true, Beef? You're not kidding now. Is that true?
Sure it's true. Connie Lane thinks I'm a dumb bunny.
Oh, brother. Okay, there goes the signal for the last half, fellas. Let's go out there and show that Colton team how to play football.
Get away from that peacock, Connie. Let me see what's happening.
Gee, I think Beef just got hurt.
Yeah. Oh, and there goes Bobby to help him off the field. The big clumsy lug. Hey, he's going to play. Does he look funny without a bench under him?
Oh, there can't be more than 2 minutes left to play. Oh, babe, supposing Tom loses the game.
Well, that's what I thought he was trying to do in the first half. But something came over him in this half. He could just get one lucky break. Well, there they go. Time's in. They've lined up.
Look, they passed the ball back to Bobby.
Yeah. Holy cow, he's running the wrong way. Turn around, you big lug. Turn around.
It's all right. He's just fading back to pass. There, he's throwing it. It's a long pass. A long forward pass to Tommy.
He caught it. Tommy caught it. Oh, brother, look at him go.
Tommy, run. Run. Win for Tate, Tommy. Win for Tate.
He's over. He's over. It's a touchdown.
Yes. It's a touchdown.
Why, Connie, aren't you glad?
Of course I'm glad. For Patricia.
Connie, where are you going? Come back here. Connie!
Hiya, babe.
Oh, there you are, Bobby. I've been looking all over the dance floor for you. Come on out on the veranda. I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah, I know it's about our marriage. Well,
Yes, we agreed if you won the game, we'd get married. It was a very foolish thing, and I want you to let me off.
What? Well, don't you know every girl in Tate is after me?
Yes, and they can have you. My business, really, my business is taking raw material, polishing it up, and throwing it back in circulation.
Oh, but, babe, those girls don't understand me. They think I'm a hero. Oh, you gotta marry me.
Oh, it's a good thing you said that. This brick is getting awfully heavy.
Oh, nice going, kids, and all sorts of congratulations, but by any chance have you seen Connie Lane? I've been looking for her all over the place.
Connie didn't come to the dance, Tommy. The last I saw of her, she was sitting on that little bench behind the chemistry lab.
Oh, thanks, babe. Thanks a lot. Hello, Connie.
Oh, it's you.
I just found out you were here. I've been looking for you ever since the game.
Well, you found me. So now you can go right back to the dance and to the girl you're going to marry.
But the girl I'm going to marry isn't at the dance, Connie. I mean, the girl I hope to marry isn't at the dance. Oh, Connie, don't you see? It's you I'm crazy about. Just you.
Oh, Tommy.
Hello, Venus.
Hi, Mars. Oh, somebody broke that street light. Some little ruffian must have thrown a rock at it.
Oh, you're wrong, Miss Lane. You're wrong. I did it.
Why, Professor Kenyon.
Mm-hmm. For years, I've had an insane desire to smash one of those things, and I couldn't have picked a better time.
Well, that's kind of an about-face, isn't it, Professor, after that astronomy exam you threw at me this morning?
Oh, don't say that, Tom. Your exam paper was awful. And the professor passed you just because he likes you.
He likes me?
Yes, Tom. But I'm going to leave you with someone who likes you a little better than I. Mm-hmm. My. Look at Mars and look at Venus. They seem closer together tonight than they've ever been before.
And love can come to everyone. The best things in life are free.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gordon MacRae giving a special vote of thanks to our two lovely guest stars this evening, Miss Dinah Shore and Miss Jane Powell, and to the other members of tonight's cast for their fine performances in our production of Good News, which was adapted for radio by Ed Gardner. Next week, our star-studded show train will arrive on the same tracks at the same time. On board will be Mr. Victor Moore and Miss Margaret Whiting to join me in bringing you the famous Cole Porter musical, Anything Goes, with our chorus under the direction of Norman Luboff and the music arranged and conducted by Carmen Dragon. All aboard! Well, it looks as though we're ready to pull out, so until next week, goodbye. And remember, during the coming week, as always, the American Railroads will provide for you the dependable low-cost transportation which is so essential to the American way of living.
Good News has been presented by special arrangement with Ham's Whitmark Music Library. Miss Dinah Shore appeared by courtesy of Columbia Records. Listen to her latest release, Buttons and Bows. Miss Jane Powell appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor picture Three Musketeers, starring Lana Turner, Gene Kelly, and June Allison. Gordon MacRae appeared through the courtesy of Warner Brothers. This is Marvin Miller speaking. The Railroad Hour is brought to you each week at this time by the Association of American Railroads. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Friends, go in and see a DeSoto Plymouth dealer tomorrow. And when you do, tell them Groucho sent you.
Adam's Hat presents The Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Why, what's the matter? Surely you're not nervous. Perhaps a story might calm your nerves a little. This story is about a strange spell and a stranger magic. I call it The Summoning of Shandor.
In a moment, you and I will take a deep breath and step into the strange world of Dr. Weird. And while you brace yourself, I'd like to do right by my sponsor and say something nice about Adam's Hat. That's not very hard to do, especially right now with the breathtaking fall and winter line of up-to-the-minute Adam's Hats now on display in the thousands of Adams stores and authorized dealers from coast to coast. Why not stroll by your nearest Adams shop and take a quick look at some of that quality headgear? Believe me, when you buy an Adams, you're buying real quality and correct style, as well as perfect fit. And Adams is one of America's greatest hat values. Now, here's Dr. Weird.
My story, The Summoning of Shandor, begins in a curious circular room at the top of a deserted lighthouse near San Francisco. There are three men in the room. One is bound tightly to a chair, his face wet with the perspiration of agony. The second is small and ferret-like. The third man is squat, with a soft, healthy body and blubbery countenance that makes him look like a frog as he speaks.
Well, Compton, are you ready to tell us where your wife is yet?
You'll never find her, Freddy. She's out of your reach.
And he put another splinter under his fingernail, Frog. That ought to make him tell us where he's got her head. Now, Spot, I've got a better idea. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Shandor?
That old Hindu who lives down in Chinatown? Yeah, I heard plenty about him. I don't want nothing to do with that guy.
They tell me one little trick of his called the summoning is supposed to make anybody you want come to you, even from the furthest ends of the earth.
You mean he can bring her here even if we don't...
Yes, Spot. The Suppose you go get this Shandor. We'll have him work his spell. And no matter where Thompson had his wife hidden, she'll come to us, whether she wants to or not.
And so, half an hour later, the door of a tiny, strangely furnished room, deep in the heart of Chinatown, slowly opened.
Yes. What is it, please?
Santos?
I am called by that name.
My boss has got a job for you. He wants you to work him a spell. The one called the Summoning.
Summoning?
Yeah.
That is a powerful and dangerous charm not to be lightly attempted. And yet it has been ordained for 1,000 years that I shall go with you and do as you wish.
A few minutes later, Shandor, followed by Spot, was climbing the endless steps that led to the top of the deserted lighthouse, where Frog Stenton and his prisoner were waiting.
This is madness. This obsession of yours about Ellen, my wife. Yes, obsession. For 5 long years I've waited for this moment. The moment when Ellen will come to me and tell me she's willing to be mine. And when she does that, you'll die tonight. Painfully. Slow.
That's madness, Stenton. Just because you asked her to marry you once and she turned you down.
She'd have been mine if you hadn't come along.
No, she wouldn't. She was just sorry for you because you...
Because I love the way I do. Like a frog. Yes. I know. She said it made her skin crawl just to have me touch her hand. You think I could forgive that? I went to prison because I was caught stealing money to have my face changed so she liked me. I told her that. She told you and you told the police. You expect me to forgive that?
Stenton, listen to me. Forget this crazy idea of revenge. Turn me loose.
I've told you the price of your life. It's for your wife, Ellen, to come to me gladly. Kiss me. Me, whose very touch made her skin crawl. If she won't do that, you'll die. Now, for the last time, where is she?
She's where you can never find her.
Never.
You fool!
Yeah. Thompson. You're unconscious. So, you think you can keep her hidden from me, do you? What? It's you?
Yeah. Go on in, Shandor.
I obey.
You know what you're here to do?
This Anne has told me.
Good. We have a friend, a young woman. She's lost and we can't find her. We want to bring her here. You'll be well paid.
I do not use my knowledge for pay. Have you a picture of the one who is to be summoned?
Yes.
Yes, she is young and fair.
Now, get busy and get her here. And if your spells don't work, I'll throw you out that window down to the rocks below. Understand?
Shandor has no fear of you. First, the incense must be lighted.
Hey, that strong stuff. Shut up, Spot. Go down below and wait there.
Okay. Just make fast.
First, you must call the one who is wanted and ask her to come.
All right.
Ellen, come to me.
Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen, come. We'll learn what happens in just a moment. First, I wonder if we could have a word with you, Dr. Weird.
Yes, young man. What is it?
Well, your program really scares me tonight, Doctor. I want you to give me something for my frenzied nerves. Just, say, what's that thing you're carrying around? Is it?
Just a human skull.
A skull, huh? Look, Doc, never mind about my nerves. Just go away for a minute, and we'll all think about something nice. Gentlemen, I hope the next time you stroll by your nearest Adam hat store, you'll find time to step inside for a brief look around. Believe me, that fall and winter line of hats just arrived really represents a fine assortment of quality. Prices, you'll notice, run from only $3.45 up to $10. Try your size in a famous Adam Prize, one of America's greatest hat values, which features the most correct, up-to-the-minute styles in genuine fur felt. Men choose Adam because an Adam just naturally does something for a fellow. The ladies certainly agree with that. That's why so many ladies are giving their men Adam hat gift certificates for Christmas. That way, he makes his own selection of size, color, shape at any time he pleases, just by presenting the gift certificate at any one of the thousands of Adam hat shops and authorized dealers from coast to coast. This Christmas, madam, give him an Adam. Now, Dr. Weird.
And now for the rest of my story, the summoning of Shandor. In the tiny room at the top of the deserted lighthouse, the magician Shandor sounds the gong. He summons the missing from wherever they may be.
Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen, come. She comes. She is almost here. That gong. What is it? Oh, you come too. The Shandor comes. And you've been summoning your wife. Ellen is coming. She's almost here. No, that's not possible. It mustn't be. But it is. She's almost here now. No.
Be not distressed, my friend. She comes gladly.
But she...
It is best that you neither see nor hear what is to happen. Look into my eyes. There. Now there is a veil over your senses.
What's that?
Yes, here, she whom you have summoned has come to you dressed in white and veiled as a bride.
Ellen, you come.
You called me, and I came.
Yes. I've been waiting 5 years for this moment, Ellen.
I come. I was glad to come.
Let me lift this veil you're wearing so I can see you. Your face, your eyes, your hair.
I will lift it. There.
No.
Now, take me in your arms. You summoned me. You cannot turn from me now.
No. Stay away from me. I'll shoot you. I'll kill you.
You summoned me. I shall remain with you as long as you live.
You're still coming toward me. I saw the voice hit you. Why aren't you dead?
You summoned me. We shall be together always now. Always.
No, stand back, please.
He summoned me, and I came. Now I must go back. Go back.
Yes, you must return once more from whence you came.
It was a great distance, but I was glad to come. Tell my husband not to grieve. I was glad to come. Glad, but now I must go back.
Now, my friend, you may awaken.
Shandor. What happened? Oh, Spencer.
This godlike one whose soul was evil, gone. When your wife came to him and he saw her face, madly overtook him. He leaped to his death on the rocks below.
Her face. It was horribly mutilated in the accident in which she was killed. She was buried in her wedding dress and veil.
She said she was glad to come.
But she couldn't have come. She's dead. She's been buried for years.
Well, do you feel calmer now? Quite a powerful spell, wasn't it? So powerful that it could even call the dead from the grave. Oh, you don't believe a word of it? I'm glad. You'll sleep better tonight. Or perhaps. Drop in on me again soon. I'm always home. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weir.
That man will be back in a moment with a word about next Tuesday night's program. Meanwhile, between now and then, why not buy an Adam Hack Christmas gift certificate for the man in your life? These certificates come inside a miniature hat box with a miniature hat and can be redeemed at any time at any of the thousands of Adam Hack shops and authorized dealers throughout the nation. Get an Adam gift certificate so that he may choose exactly the size, color, and shape he wants at any Adam Hat store or authorized dealer. Prices $3.45 to $10. For Christmas, madam, give him an Adam. Now, Dr. Weir.
I hope you'll drop in on me again next week. I want to tell you a story I call Death in the Everglades. A story about a young couple who couldn't wait for their uncle to die and leave them his money. They went into the Everglades to get it. But their uncle's friend persuaded them to stay. Because but the rest of the story will have to wait until your next visit. Good night.
Join us next week at the same time for another visit with The Strange Dr. Weird. The Strange Dr. Weird, directed by Josh McGregor, is presented by the makers of Adam hats, the hats that are always top in quality. This is Mutual.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, written by Al Lewis. Well, last Thursday was Thanksgiving Day, and most of us realized that we had quite a bit to be thankful for. Even our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School.
Yes, the holiday means a lot to me. First, it gives me an opportunity to relax and count my lack of blessings. And second, it offers a chance to catch up on several days' brooding. But this Thanksgiving was different. I knew it was going to be when I joined my landlady at breakfast last Wednesday morning. Good morning, Mrs. Davis. Did you have a nice night?
Wonderful, Connie. I didn't sleep a wink.
That sounds like fun.
I was planning my menu for tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving, you know, and I wanted something special for Minerva and me.
Minerva? Oh, there you are, you cute little kitten.
Where is she, Connie?
Taking my stocking off with her cute little paws. Stop it, Minerva. Now get away from my stocking. Either get away from those or knit me a new pair with that ball of yarn you play with.
Go out to the kitchen, Minerva. I do want you to hear about tomorrow's menu.
What are you having, Mrs. Davis?
Minerva's favorite dish, SQUAB. It doesn't do a bit of good to spell things out anymore.
I guess she's too old for that. Please go into the kitchen, Minerva. There's some milk out there. Right under the SINK. Don't tell me she slammed the door behind her.
No, that was me, Connie. I wanted to show you the squab I got for tomorrow.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Well, here it is.
Where? Oh, right there behind that carrot.
It isn't very big, is it?
I've seen stuffing with larger drumsticks.
You know, Connie, I was all ready to get a nice 10-pound turkey yesterday when the clerk at the market said something that made me change my mind.
What did he say?
$8.30.
Well, that is a pretty rude remark.
I'm afraid I was a little testy when I complained about the price. Anyway, when I demanded something cheaper, this is the bird he gave me.
You certainly did.
Well, it'll be enough for Minerva and myself. I suppose you've already been invited somewhere for turkey and all the fixings.
Where would you suggest?
Hasn't Mr. Boynton asked you out for Thanksgiving dinner, Connie?
Not yet, Mrs. Davis, but this morning he's going to be exposed to the most thorough opportunity to do so. Good. Of course, Mr. Boynton's been on a very strict budget lately. He probably can't afford any turkey dinners.
Then you bring him back here with you, Connie.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Mrs. Davis, but that squab...
We'll make it do. Remember the old saying, there's always room for just one more.
In this case, you must mean one more squab. Well, thanks anyway, Mrs. Davis. After all, we've still got our health, which is more than I can say for that squab.
Of course, I'd rather see you eat a nice turkey dinner tomorrow. Maybe you could wangle yourself an invitation from one of your friends.
Oh, please, Mrs. Davis. Oh, that must be Walter Denton. He's giving me a lift to school. Be right there, Walter.
Why don't you find out what his folks are planning for tomorrow? Maybe you could get yourself invited there.
I'm surprised at you, Mrs. Davis. Why, I've never forced myself on anyone in my life.
Connie, take another look at that squab.
Like I say, Walter's mother may not know it yet, but there's always room for just one more. Oh, it certainly is nice weather for Thanksgiving, isn't it, Walter?
It's more than nice, Miss Brooks. This air is absolutely succulent. It's downright savory and delicious.
One more crack like that, and I'll be gnawing on the steering wheel. Tell me, Walter, how do you usually spend Thanksgiving?
Well, usually, Mom cooks a big turkey and we have dinner around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Gosh, I'll never forget last year's meal. First, we had a fresh fruit cup, then some delicious vegetable soup, and then this big golden brown turkey was served with a special dressing made out of chestnuts and raisins and stuff, and... You want to hear the rest of it, Miss Brooks?
Certainly. Just pass me a blotter and keep talking.
Oh, I don't remember all the dishes, but the hot mince pie was really tops. And my mom is just about the best cook in this town.
And like most good cooks, she probably prepares more food than she really needs.
Oh, sure. Out of last year's turkey, the whole family had turkey, turkey giblets, turkey sandwiches, and turkey hash.
That's because you didn't invite enough guests over for Thanksgiving dinner. You know, Walter, I've often thought that people who are so close to each other all year round should somehow manage to spend their holidays together as well.
What kind of people are you talking about, Miss Brooks?
Well, school teachers and students, for example.
Who needs teachers on a holiday? I mean, most teachers you get enough of during school hours, if present company accepted, of course. Well, you're a lot different, Miss Brooks.
I know, I'm hungrier. Look, Walter, about spending Thanksgiving together, if you're planning to be with your folks...
Oh, but I'm not, Miss Brooks. Now, my mother and Dad are going out of town for the weekend. It's my Dad's first vacation in 2 years.
How come you're not leaving town with them?
It's my Dad's first vacation in 2 years. Oh, he loves me, but he thinks I'm a little wearing in spots. So I'm staying over at Stretch Snodgrass's house until next week.
Oh, I see. Then you'll have Thanksgiving dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Snodgrass.
No, ma'am, they're going away with my folks. They're good friends, you know, just like Stretch and me. But, Miss Brooks, I think your idea about spending Thanksgiving together is swell.
You do?
Sure. Then why don't you and Stretch and me have dinner tomorrow?
Dinner? Well, that might be very nice, Walter.
Oh, great. Then Stretch and I'll be over to your place at 3 o'clock sharp.
My place?
Yeah. That is, if you still want us.
I wouldn't be without you. But, Walter, Mrs. Davis did the shopping yesterday, and there just weren't any good-sized turkeys left that she could afford. So what she bought was a very
Oh, what she bought isn't important, Miss Brooks. What counts is spending Thanksgiving with people who mean something to you. Gee, the Pilgrim certainly had it all over us modern characters. When a pilgrim wanted to celebrate the holiday, he just picked up his musket and shot himself a turkey.
At the current prices, Walter, the only way I'll have a turkey tomorrow is if I pick up a musket and shoot myself a butcher.
Come in.
Good morning, Mr. Boynton. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute before your first class.
Well, I'm glad you dropped in, Miss Brooks. I've got some rather exciting news this morning.
I'll be glad to. What is it, Mr. Boynton?
Well, do you remember the raffle ticket I bought last month in Marty's malt shop?
Oh, on that green Adams hat with the red feather?
No, on a tom turkey. They had the drawing last night, and I won. Isn't that wonderful?
That is what I call the coincidence of all time.
Coincidence?
Why do you think I stopped by your laboratory this morning?
Well, I don't know.
To invite you over for Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow.
Well, that is nice of you, Miss Brooks. I'll be happy to come over. About what time will you be expecting me?
I'll be expecting you and Tom about noon.
Tom? Oh, you mean the turkey. Well, I'm afraid he won't be with me, Miss Brooks. You see, at this very moment, the turkey is on a train headed upstate.
Why? Did he get fed up with our climate?
No, I sent him up to my folks' place. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford to visit my parents this year, but, well, now they'll have something to remind them of me anyhow.
Must be a very tall turkey. What did he weigh, Mr. Boynton?
Oh, about 18 pounds. Of course, what I'd do with an 18-pound turkey, I'll never know.
Until tomorrow. Well, I'd better be running along now. On second thought, you needn't get to the house until 3 or 3:30. On third thought, you can back out of the whole thing if you want to.
Back out? I should say not. I'll be there all right, and thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. But, Mr. Boynton, if you're expecting the conventional Thanksgiving Day dinner, you're liable to be a little disappointed. I'm just not having it.
Oh, what are you having?
So far, Walter Denton and Stretch Snodgrass.
starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Now, proof that brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate Dental Cream helps stop tooth decay before it starts.
Continuous research, hundreds of case histories, makes this the most conclusive proof in all dentifrice research on tooth decay.
Eminent dental authorities supervised hundreds of college men and women for over 2 years. One group always brushed their teeth with Colgates right after eating. The other followed their usual dental care.
The group using Colgate Dental Cream as directed, using Colgates exclusively, showed a startling reduction in average number of cavities, far less tooth decay. The other group developed new cavities at a much higher rate. No other dentifrice offers proof of these results.
Modern research shows decay is caused by mouth acids, which are at their worst right after eating. Brushing teeth with Colgates as directed helps remove acids before they harm enamel. Yes, Colgates contains all the necessary ingredients, including an exclusive patented ingredient for effective daily dental care.
So remember, always use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Well, Thanksgiving Day arrived right on schedule, mostly because I couldn't do anything to stop it. After breakfast, I headed straight for the kitchen. There, I took a good look at Mrs. Davis's squab. Then I took an aspirin. Then I gave the squab an aspirin. Then I decided to make Mrs. Davis a full partner in my panic. Oh, this is terrible, Mrs. Davis. We can't possibly serve 5 people with this amount of food.
Calm down, Connie. We'll make out some way. I've got cans of salmon in the house and some cheese and crackers and tidbits of one sort or another.
But one doesn't serve tidbits for Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, I wish that bird looked bigger. Did you stuff him again since we last discussed it?
I've stuffed him 5 times since then, Connie. In fact, the last time I went to fill him up, I got the feeling that he was trying to kick my hand away.
Oh, it's no use, Mrs. Davis. It just won't work.
I still think you should follow the advice I gave you yesterday, Connie, and get yourself invited out for a real turkey dinner.
But I've already asked Mr. Boynton to join me.
Then get him invited along with you.
Well, what about Stretch Snodgrass and Walter Denton?
Take them along, too.
Why not? While we're at it, why don't you and Minerva join our happy little group?
We'd love to, Connie. Where are we going?
I don't know where you're going, but I'm going to take another aspirin.
I'm sure the Conklins would like to have you over. I ran into Martha yesterday, and she told me that she was all ready to carve a huge turkey.
Oh, is she fighting with Mr. Conklin again?
Now, don't be silly, Connie. Martha even remarked yesterday that she was hoping Mr. Conklin would ask some of the teachers in to share their dinner.
I can just picture that. If Mr. Conklin saw any teachers at his dinner table, he wouldn't know what to bite first.
That doesn't apply to Mr. Boynton, though. Osgood is quite fond of him. And he's also extremely taken with Stretch Snodgrass. Thinks he's the best athlete Madison's ever had.
Well, what about his attitude toward me?
Call anyway. Remember, Connie, pride goeth before a fall. You've got to make a hit with Mr. Boynton. Here, I'll dial the number for you.
Oh, but Mrs. Davis, Mr. Conklin can't stand the sight of Walter Denton.
Nonsense,
I know he
dear.
doesn't...
His daughter Harriet is crazy about the boy.
Hello?
One moment, please. Miss Brooks is calling. Here, Connie.
Oh, hello?
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. This is Harriet. Gee, I'm glad you called. You're having Walter Denton over for dinner, aren't you?
That's the original plan, Harriet.
I wish we could all have dinner together, Miss Brooks. I was just talking to Mother about it this minute.
You were? Well, now that's funny. I wanted to talk to Mother about the same thing.
Wonderful, Miss Brooks. Wait a minute, I'll put her on.
Thanks, Harriet. Harriet and her mother were just talking about getting together for dinner, Mrs. Davis.
Hello, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Mrs. Conklin.
Forgive me if I talk rather quietly, but Mr. Conklin's taking a nap in the living room. He needs the rest, you know. He's been rather irritable lately.
I know, for the last 5 years. We've known each other for 5 years now, and, well, the reason I called...
Harriet told me, Miss Brooks. I just know you feel exactly as we do. That people should share their Thanksgiving joy with their friends.
That's right, Mrs. Conklin. You understand, though, that it isn't just me. I've already invited Walter, Stretch, and Mr. Boynton.
The more the merrier, I always say.
Well, I'm glad you always say that, Mrs. Conklin, because my little party lacks just one thing, which you and only you can provide.
What a beautiful way to put it. I can only say, Miss Brooks, that we'll be proud and happy to share Thanksgiving dinner with you and your friends.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Conklin.
Thank you, my dear. Harriet and Mr. Conklin and I will be at your place at 2 o'clock sharp.
It's almost 1, Mother. Don't you think we should wake Daddy?
In a minute, Harriet. Did you take our turkey down to the mission like I told you?
Yes, Mother. I just got back. They certainly were grateful. The man said it would feed almost a dozen people who ordinarily would go without any Thanksgiving meal at all.
Fine, dear. I know your father will be happy at the thought of sharing with our lesser privileged citizens. Now go on in and wake him up, Harriet.
Yes, Mother. Daddy?
Pass some more white meat, please.
It's time to get up, Daddy.
What? What's the matter? Oh, it's you, child. What time is it?
1 o'clock. How do you feel after your nap?
Fine, Harriet, just fine. Except for one thing.
What's that?
I could eat my weight in wildcats. Martha! Oh, Martha!
Yes, dear? What is it?
Let's not wait till 2 o'clock for dinner. I'd like to eat right now.
Oh, but Osgood,
I saw that turkey in the oven when it was finished this morning, Martha, and I just can't get it out of my mind. Oh, it sure smells good, too.
You must have a pretty long smeller, dear. We gave our turkey to the folks who run the mission. We're going out for dinner.
Oh, but I don't want to go out. I want to eat in my robe and slippers and... You gave our turkey to whom?
The mission, dear. It's like a municipal shelter, you know.
The man said our turkey would feed almost a dozen underprivileged citizens.
Oh, he did. Well, teachers are underprivileged citizens, too. But I don't give them my Thanksgiving dinner.
Now, calm down, Osgood. This is no day for your high blood pressure to get out of hand. We're going over to Margaret Davis' place to have dinner with Miss Brooks and some of her friends.
Miss Brooks, who needs teachers on a holiday?
Daddy, Mrs. Davis is a very exotic cook. I'm sure she'll have some wonderful dishes prepared for you.
But I don't want Mrs. Davis's dishes. I want turkey. Turky, turkey.
Of course, dear. Now, everyone buys too much for Thanksgiving dinner. Otherwise, we'd have brought our turkey over to Miss Brooks. But as it is, think of the joy you're sharing with the people at the mission, Osgood.
Joy my foot. The food at Miss Brooks' place had better be good today. Good. It had better be great.
Every time I tried to call Mrs. Conklin back, the party line was in use. Now they don't answer. They're probably on their way over here this minute to eat dinner or not to eat dinner.
Please, Connie, you're beginning to sound like Hamlet. Don't worry so about the Conklins. They'll probably bring their turkey over with them, and we'll have plenty.
Do you really think so, Mrs. Davis?
We'll soon know, Connie. Will you answer the door, please? I'm trying to find some more cans of salmon, just in case.
All right, Mrs. Davis.
Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Brooks.
A very happy Thanksgiving, Miss Brooks.
Hello.
The same to you. But is this all the party?
What do you mean, Miss Brooks?
I mean, just you three? Nothing waiting out in the car or anything?
Well, we were going to bring our turkey along, but we know what a well-stocked larder you folks must have, so we donated it to the mission.
The mission?
One of my favorite charities. There's no joy like sharing. May we come in now and start sharing yours?
Of course, Mr. Conklin. If you'll just sit here in the living room, I'll go back to the kitchen and tell Mrs. Davis you're here.
Oh, Harriet and I will go back and help out, Miss Brooks. You've done enough for one day. Why, I'll bet you worked like a beaver this morning.
Gnawed through 6 fingernails. Oh, I didn't do too much, no.
Come on, Mother. I'll fix the salad dressing that new way you showed me.
All right, dear. And I'll tell Mrs. Davis about the new things we've been doing with parsley.
Never mind the side dishes. Let's just get that turkey to the table pronto. Huh?
You chat with Miss Brooks, dear. We'll just be a little while.
We'll make it snappy. I could eat my weight in wildcats, Miss Brooks.
If they come in cans, you may get the chance. I mean, we'll be sitting down as soon as the others arrive, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, yes, I forgot. You're having some of your friends in. I hope that lame-brained dunce, Walter Denton, isn't expected.
Want some popcorn, Mr. Conklin? Or potato chips?
No, thanks. Who's coming to this dinner, Miss Brooks?
Well, Mr. Boynton, for one.
Oh, nice chap, Boynton. Far less irritating than many of his contemporaries.
Oh, what's the trouble, Mr. Conklin?
I'm not a well man. I've had some very strange symptoms lately.
What kind of symptoms?
Well, every so often I get sudden, blinding flashes of appetite.
Oh, well, that's because you're under such a strain, Mr. Conklin. You see, under great emotional tension, many people experience sudden and uncontrollable appetites. It's psychosomatic to some extent.
Really? Now perhaps you'd like me to stretch out on the couch and tell me how, at the age of 3, I was convinced that my younger brother was a cocker spaniel.
Yours, too? I was only trying to stall. Help, Mr. Conklin. I had an aunt who suffered just like you do. I remember one time my uncle caught his nose in the piano bench. And he ran right down to the corner and bought herself a pickle.
A pickle?
It satisfied her nervous craving. When she stayed with us, we always had to keep a big supply of food on hand. Big juicy steaks, chops, and chicken, ducks, cold cuts, potato salad.
Please, Miss Brooks. I want my dinner.
But, Mr. Conklin, the others aren't... It's open. Come on in.
Hello, Miss Brooks. Oh, Mr. Conklin, say, this is a surprise.
Hello, Boynton. Can we sit down now, Miss Brooks?
Not quite yet. Pull up a chair, Mr. Boynton.
Thanks. Well, how does the turkey look? Did you get a nice-sized bird?
Well, to be honest, Mr. Boynton, our turkey may not be such a big bird, but I'm sure the party is going to be a very big turkey. Oh, I almost forgot. There are some salted peanuts in this dish, Mr. Conklin.
One would almost think you were trying to destroy my appetite. But nothing can do that, Miss Brooks. Absolutely nothing.
Well, the door was open, so I just breezed on in. Hi, Miss Brooks.
Here comes nothing now.
Huh? Oh, hi, Mr. Boynton. And Mr. Conklin.
Hello, gentlemen.
Miss Brooks, I've got some bad news for you.
You'll have to get in line, Walter. What is it?
Well, Stretch's aunt and uncle insisted that he have dinner with them today, so he can't possibly be here in time to eat with us. Isn't that awful?
I'm absolutely devastated.
Me too. Gosh, Miss Brooks, what'll we do with all the extra food that's left over?
We'll eat it.
At
last! Come on! May I escort you to the dining room, Miss Brooks?
It won't be necessary, Mr. Boynton. I'll just follow Leo the lion.
I've cut the squab into small pieces and sprayed it with sweet air, Connie. Nobody will know it isn't turkey. Now then, keep the lid on this big tray except when you're serving, and they won't know how little we've got.
All right, Mrs. Davis. I might as well trot it in. Well, here we are. What'll you have, Mrs. Conklin?
Oh, serve Mr. Conklin first, will you, dear? He's quite hungry.
Certainly. Mr. Conklin, what'll it be?
I'll have a drumstick.
A drumstick. Yes, sir. Here you are.
Where I are.
The drumstick. This is it. You know what they say, the nearer the bone, the sweeter the meat.
If this has any meat on it, it must be inside the bone.
Well, this is a brand new breed of turkey, Mr. Conklin. They've been experimenting for years with this type on the theory that the shorter the legs, the larger the breast.
Oh, then give me some of that.
Yes, sir. Here it is.
This is it?
This it is. You see, when they were experimenting with the short legs, the breast didn't quite get the idea of what they were trying to do.
Well, where are the wings?
This bird didn't get his wings. He flunked out in basic training.
I thought we'd never get out of that place. Fine dinner that was.
Take it easy, Osgood. We'll stop off on our way home and get a bite somewhere.
I thought the salmon was quite tasty. But, Mother, why do you suppose Miss Brooks took Mr. Boynton aside and then excused herself in the middle of the meal and left?
Why, it was obvious, dear.
Miss Brooks wanted us to have enough to eat.
And to think we sent a beautiful 16-pound turkey to the mission.
Everything happens for the best, dear. See, that's the mission right ahead of us. What a big line of people waiting to be fed. Doesn't it do your heart good to know that we
Mother,
can...
look. That man with the 2 plates full of turkey.
Yeah, full of my turkey. Why, it's Mr. Boynton.
So it is. And who's that right behind him with the blue cap and hitting the big bass drum?
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Open up the mission door. Lord, got one more.
Steve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight, yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives Kay Duma's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Not a soap, not a liquid. Luster Cream shampoo leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, after Mr. Boynton and I had helped to feed over 50 underprivileged citizens, including Mr. Boynton and me, we found out that we had enough money between us to take in a movie. But on our way to the Strand, Mr. Boynton suddenly stopped.
Miss Brooks, helping out at the mission made me realize how lonely the most festive occasion can be if you're not sharing it with someone.
You're so right, Mr. Boynton. I guess you and I are pretty fortunate.
Oh, we certainly are. But I just remembered that there's another member of Madison's faculty who's all alone tonight and needs cheering up pretty badly. Let's do something about it, shall we, Miss Brooks?
Oh, that's a wonderful idea, Mr. Boynton. I'm all for it. I suppose you're referring to our French colleague, Monsieur Leblanche.
Oh, no, Miss Brooks. I was thinking of Miss Enright. Let's go pick her up right now.
Who needs teachers on a holiday?
Next week, tune into another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, directed by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon.
Here's good shaving news. 3 men out of every 4 can get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves with Palmolive brushless shaving cream. This is not just a claim. Here's the proof. 1,297 men tried the Palmolive brushless way to shave described on the tube. And no matter how they shaved before, 3 men out of every 4 got more comfortable, actually smoother shaves. Try Palmolive brushless yourself. See if you don't get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the proved Palmolive brushless way.
For mystery liberally sprinkled with laughs, listen to Mr. and Mrs. North. Tune in Tuesday evening over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at the same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
With Oscar Levant, Lou Bring and his orchestra and chorus, and our guest, Dorothy L'Amour.
So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for its song.
folks, this is Al Jolson in the old Kraft Music Hall. Well, today is Thanksgiving, and we all have a lot to be thankful for. I know today when I sit down to my Thanksgiving dinner, I'm going to bow my head and give thanks for the food that I eat, thanks for the clothes that I wear, and thanks for Larry Park. And I'm especially thankful that you like to hear me sing, because there ain't nothing I want to do more. Come on, Lou, let's take it. When the wintry winds are blowing and the snow is starting to fall, then my eyes turn westward knowing that's the place that I love best of all. California, I've been blue since I've been away from you. I can't wait till I get going. Even now, I'm starting to call. Oh, California, here I come. Right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning, that dawning bird sing and everything. A sun gives me said, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come. California, here I come, yeah. Right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning at dawning, the birdies sing and everything. The sun gives me said, don't be late on. That's why I can hardly wait. Come on, Louis. Open up, open up, open up. That golden gate, California. Here I come.
Al, I needed that song. It cheered me up.
I know, Oscar. I read the papers. But what's making you today more unhappy, than usual?
Well, among other things, my wife wants to get into politics.
Oh, Oscar. Don't worry. Let your wife go into politics. It'll keep her busy.
Yeah, but she wants me to do the campaigning for her.
What's wrong?
I'm supposed to go around kissing babies.
Really? I think that's beautiful. That's really sweet, Oscar. Why should you mind kissing a few little teeny-weeny babies, really?
Every time I kiss a baby, I either get whooping cough or the measles.
That's funny. The only thing I ever caught from a baby was colic. But it didn't last very long. My wife put me over her shoulder and burped me.
Al, how could your wife put you over her shoulder?
I lied about my age. But Oscar, look, if your wife is really serious about politics, have her go after a big office, like president. The White House would be a good place for you, really.
What makes you think so?
They already have a piano there. Now,
there isn't a chance for a woman to be president.
No?
A president has to be over 35 and a leader of men.
That's right.
Very few men will follow a woman over 35.
You got it. I would.
Al, I wonder what it would be like to have a woman Secretary of the Navy.
Secretary of the Navy, a woman? Oh, that would be wonderful. She gives the sailor that new look and puts some more material in her pants. They'd wear them that way,
Well, I'm not going to worry anymore about my wife being in politics.
No?
She's already the Speaker of the House.
That's nothing. That's nothing, Oscar. At our house, my wife is chairman of the investigating committee.
Al.
Yeah?
What do you mean, investigating committee?
Well, when I say I'm going to the fights on Tuesday night, brother, you really investigate.
I don't want to discuss politics any further.
No?
I happen to have my piano with me, so I'll play something.
Well, what made you decide to play so suddenly?
I'm tired and I want to sit down.
Well, what are you going to play, Oscar?
Well, a friend of mine asked me to plug a song for him.
Who?
Fred Chopin.
I know his brother, Sam.
Well, at any rate, I'll now drool over one of Chopin's nocturnes.
over 60 different Thanksgiving days, many a feast menu has included the famous Philadelphia brand cream cheese. In fact, this creamy white, exquisitely fresh-tasting cheese is so famous that some people think any cream cheese is Philadelphia cream cheese. Now, don't you make that mistake. Genuine Philadelphia is the brand made only by Kraft, the brand that's guaranteed fresh by Kraft. And that's why it's important to see the name Philadelphia brand marked right on every package of cream cheese you buy. That's the way to get rich-tasting, fresh-tasting cream cheese every time.
Oscar, wait a minute, will you? Why are you playing turkey in the straw?
I was just thinking, it's 6 o'clock out here and we haven't had our turkey dinner yet.
Yeah?
But in New York, it's 9 o'clock and everybody's eating.
Well, what about it?
If I was in New York, I wouldn't be so hungry now.
Oscar, look. Don't encourage him. Oscar, look. Go ahead and play something, and later we'll go up to my house and have Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, we've got a big, beautiful 16-pound cheese.
Cheese?
Yeah, cheese.
Don't you have turkey on Thanksgiving?
Not while I'm working for Mr. Kraft, I don't.
I'm glad we're not working for a dog food company.
Oh, that's pretty, Oscar. Oscar, what is that?
It's Madame Butterfly, an opera about a Japanese girl.
Well, what's Japan got to do with Thanksgiving?
They've already eaten over there, too.
Will you forget about the food and play a little more of that Madame Butterfly, please?
Al, why is it you never let me sing with you? I have a voice. I have a larynx. I have lungs. I want to sing before it's too late.
One fine day in June. Oscar.
Yeah?
It's too late. Don't play any more of that. It's too high class. I got a song, for the common people. Poor Butterfly.
Do you want an arpeggio? An arpeggio.
Yeah, give me an arpeggio.
Again with the arpeggio. All right.
Poor butterfly, 'neath the blossoms waiting. Poor butterfly, for she loved him so. The moments pass into hours, the hours pass into years, and as she smiles through her tears, she murmurs low, the moon and I know that she'll be faithful. I'm sure she'll come to me by and by. But if she don't come back, then I never sigh or cry. I just must die. Poor butterfly.
Oscar, what did you think of my rendition of Poor Butterfly? Poor. This is no time to make a joke, and you didn't. Yes, sir, this is where you talk, Oscar.
I'm sorry. I was transported by your fiercely beautiful voice. Al, I want you to do a request for me.
Sure, Oscar, anything you want. Name it.
Well, many years ago, before I was a little boy.
What were you before? What were you before, a little girl?
No, I'm serious. You sang a song called Rosie, You Are My Posy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would titillate me greatly if you would sing it.
Well, Oscar, if it'll titillate you, I'll sing it. Rosie, you are my posy. You are my heart bouquet. Come out here in the moonlight. Get something sweet, love. I want to say, your honey boy, I'm waiting. Those ruby lips to breathe. Don't be so aggravated, my blessed Rosie, my posy sweet. Rosie, you are my posy. You are my heart bouquet. I'm out here in the moonlight. There's something sweet, love. Oscar, I'm singing about my baby. Your honey, your little boy, I'm waiting. Those rubies, those lips to breathe. Don't be so aggravated, my blessed Rosie, my posy sweet.
Al, I notice whenever you sing about a girl, you throw everything you have into it.
Well, Oscar, I throw what's left.
There's another girl song you should do.
Yeah?
No. Here it is.
Oh, Oscar. That's a beautiful one. Look, have yourself a small cassette while Lou plays this, will you? On the Rue de la Paix, there was once a cabaret, and Mimi. As the night went along, there was suddenly a song, and Mimi. All the world seemed to say that they loved the cabaret and Mimi. But I knew that when she'd see me, Mimi sang for me alone. Came in a flash with a passion for dancing with the one that I adore. Taught her the dance in his fashion, and upon me she is singing no more. On the Rue de la Paix, there was once a cabaret and a Nini. Now I'm sitting sad and dreaming, just for Mimi and her song.
You should see what just walked in the hall to pay us a Thanksgiving visit.
And if it's turkey, I'll take a drumstick.
Al, Dorothy L'Amour is here.
My order remains the same.
rascal, you.
Dorothy, I can't help it. You know, in the spring, a young man's fancy turns to thoughts of love.
But this is winter.
I know. When you get to be my age, you don't like to lay off for 3 seasons.
Al, I'm surprised at you. I expected a little dignity on the Kraft Music Hall. Instead, I find you're just a wolf like Bob Hope.
Me, Asa Yolson, a wolf?
Yes. Only you're not young enough to run with a pack anymore.
You know, Dorothy, I used to hear you on that Army show, front and center. Oh, and I liked you so much, Dorothy, I tried in a lift. But they didn't take me.
Why wouldn't they let you in the Army, Al?
Flat feet.
I can understand. I almost got flat feet for making those road pictures.
Oh, yeah, with Bing and Bob. You made a lot of those, didn't you, Dottie?
Yes, I was in Road to Morocco, Road to Utopia, Road to Rio.
And now you're working with Al Jolson.
End of the road.
Al, I'm here.
Oh, excuse me, Dorothy. This is Oscar Levant.
How do you do?
How do you do? I'm Oscar Levant.
I just said that.
I know. I wanted to hear it again.
Gee, Mr. Levant, a girl doesn't often get a chance to meet a brilliant man like you.
No, they don't.
Dorothy, you'll have to excuse Oscar. He's very bashful. You see, he doesn't know how to talk to girls.
Yes, I do. Miss Lamore, would you care to go dancing?
Yes, I'd love to. Where'll we go?
Arthur Murray's. I don't dance.
I've only been here a few minutes, and I've already had an invitation to go out. This is like working with Hope and Crosby.
Dorothy, look, do you always do those pictures with Bob and Bing, don't you? Well, have you ever thought of making a little change in the casting, you know?
Oh, Al, who could ever replace Bing and Bob?
I don't know who could play Hope, but I could take Bing's place. When the blue of the night... How does it go? I don't know. Al, how does it go?
Go right ahead, never mind.
When the blue of the night... Da-da-da-da-da. I don't know how it goes. Reach the goal of the day. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
That doesn't sound like Crosby. That sounds like his brother Everett. But look, Dorothy, honestly, I could be like Bob Hope. This is Al Kraft Cheese Jolson, who says if you want to treat her, try and meet her, a good-looking senorita, get her to wave her feet-er, turn on the heater, and she'll toast your Velveeta. Or...
That doesn't sound like Hope. Sounds like Effie Boone.
Well, I'm not sure you boys would qualify. After all, the road pictures are full of romance. You know, love makes the world go round.
I know. I've given it a few spins myself.
Well, Al, let's see just how romantic you are. Say a few sweet things to me.
Dorothy, you're wonderful. You're beautiful. You're divine. Does that remind you of Hope?
No. When Bob puts his arms around me, his nose always dents my forehead.
What am I up here? A bookend?
Oscar, go tune the piano. Dorothy, this is a moment I shall always cherish. You are the loveliest. You are the sweetest. You are the most wonderful. Oscar.
Yeah?
What are you doing there?
You told me to tune the piano.
But, Oscar, I'm making love.
You could stand a little tuning, too.
Oscar, please, don't bother me. Dorothy, my darling, when I look deep in your eyes, I feel that I...
Say, Oscar, have you read any good books lately?
Yeah. I was reading Money Man by Al Jolson.
Oscar, please. Look, Dottie, when I'm making love, all I ask of a girl is that she pay attention. Dottie, dearest, my love for you is...
Oh, Al,
my love for you is more than a mountain.
Al,
My love for you is...
Why, Al, you just couldn't be in a road picture.
Why not?
The road would always be under repair. Anyway, the music in our pictures is more important than the lovemaking.
Well, I'm good at anything.
Same here, only more so.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Oh, in your bright red sarong, you could make some man go wrong, and I would go if I were able. I don't look like Bing or Hope, but it's just like buying soap. Judge the content, not the label.
No, go ahead. I'm an innocent laddie,
never was a ding-dong daddy, and two beautiful girls I see. Before I get much older, I should grow much older and get started on me.
Leave us not be laconic. You guys live on celery tonic. For you it seems I have no sex appeal. Leave with Crosby and Hope. Give them a little rope and they'll make a girly squeal.
Give me a little bit of plasma and me a hot piano, and then you can hit us to your shame.
Neither one of you I'd marry. Both of you I'd have to carry.
On their wedding day. Probably nobody at your house is interested in food right now, but tomorrow, same old story. Only tomorrow they'll be glad to have something light, and you'll be glad to have some light kitchen work. For lunch, how about some sandwiches filled with fresh-tasting Philadelphia brand cream cheese, along with the celery and olives and cranberry relish left over from today. Or for dinner tomorrow, try a speedy dessert. Simply crackers and jelly and a square of creamy white Philadelphia brand, so rich, so fresh in flavor. Just make sure it's genuine Philadelphia cream cheese you get. The brand that's made only by Kraft and guaranteed fresh. Whenever you buy cream cheese, always see the word Philadelphia brand marked right on every package you buy. Smart shoppers make sure that they get the one and only Philadelphia brand cream cheese, backed by Kraft's guarantee of freshness.
Folks, on this Thanksgiving Day, there are many of you having family reunions and visiting friends. You're sitting around the fireplace after that big Thanksgiving dinner, listening to the radio, or maybe the younger kids, and many of the older ones are gathered around the piano playing and singing the good old song. Just be able to do that is something to be thankful for on this day. And you know, an old song is like an old friend. And one of the oldest friends I've had since I started singing so long ago is my gal Sal. So you're sitting at home being thankful for all the wonderful things you have. Why don't you sit back and just join me? They call her frivolous Sal, a peculiar sort of a gal with a heart that was mellow. And all-round good fellow was my old pal. Your trouble, sorrow, and care, she was always willing to share. A wild sort of devil, but dead on the level was my gal. They call her frivolous Sal, a peculiar sort of a gal, with a heart that was mellow, and I ought to know, an all-round good fellow was my old pal. Your trouble, sorrow, and care, she was always willing to share. A wild sort of devil, but dead on the level was my girl. night, folks.
Tarzan Awards and soon be seen. The Benedict Moses production. Nothing can happen. Tune again next Thursday for the Kraft Music Hall, starring Al Jolson with Oscar Levant, Lou Bring, and his orchestra and chorus, with our special guest, Red Skelton. This is Ken Carpenter saying good night. Stay tuned into this station to hear Jack Carson with Eve Arden, who'll follow immediately. Also, tune in to Greg Gildersleeve next Wednesday on this network. Remember, next Thursday's guest on Kraft Music Hall will be Red Skelton. Millions of people in our land are turning to the church and to the synagogue more than ever before, turning in search of comfort, renewed faith, and encouragement. The 200,000 churches and synagogues of America are rising with nobility and zeal to meet increased demands. But they cannot continue this great fundamental service unless we all give them help. And that is why this week local churches and synagogues are joining hands throughout our country in a common appeal for increased support. If we heartily respond to this appeal, our churches may continue to nourish the things of the Spirit in all who come to them.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
How much did Mr. Benny's turkey weigh?
What kind of a trial is it? She was the turkey of 29 pounds. In the barnyard she made all the rounds. Now there were 29 chickens as crazy as the day can stop the turkey of 29 pounds. She left 29 broken eggs. She had feathers all over her legs. And brother, I am not bluffing. You ought to see the stuffing in the turkey of 29 pounds. She was a gobbling baby, a new kind of bird from the west. She'll make wonderful gravy. If you're not careful, it's on your breast. She ate 29 bushels of corn since the 29 weeks she was born. She looks so lovely on your table with her legs like Betty Grable. She's a turkey of 29 pounds. Oh, gobble, gobble. She left 29 broken eggs. She had feathers all over her legs. And brother, I am not bluffing. You ought to see the stuffing in the turkey of 29 pounds. She was the turkey of 29 pounds. In the barnyard she made all the rounds. Now there were 29 chickens as crazy as the day can stop the turkey of 29 pounds. She was a gobbling baby, a new kind of bird from the west. She'll make wonderful gravy. If you're not careful, it's on your vest. She ate 29 bushels of corn since the 29 weeks she was born. She looks so lovely on your table with her legs like Betty Grable. She's a turkey of 29 pounds. Oh, gobble, gobble. She's a turkey of 29 pounds. Oh, gobble, gobble. The turkey of 29 pounds.
Anticipating Thanksgiving, we thank you for joining us and for being loyal listeners to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We'll be back next week, 26 November, 2023. We'll look forward to seeing you with us from 8 to 11 o'clock p.m. Central Time. As always, sweet dreams. This is a production of Lovato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.